Hello, everyone. Scotty White of World Combat Sports. Welcome this Wednesday, and thanks for tuning in. Combat Sports Media, as we all know it, combat sports in general is all year round. And I just had to jump on here once more and give you, the fight fans, the new update exclusive to the caveat of Deontay Wilder finally speaking following his fight with Tyson Fury. Yes, we're talking about February 22nd, the same fight where he came up short and lost his WBC title. Now, of course, he's still the champ. You know what I'm saying? He has a trilogy in the making. Whenever the COVID-19 starts to lift or what have you. But the one good thing about Deontay Wilder, his chances are very good going to him for this rematch with Tyson Fury. Now, for those of you that's tuned in today, you know what it is, man. Deontay Wilder had defended his title for 5 years. He was going on his 11th defense, and everything went a different route than what was initially playing out the dressing room. For those of you that tuned in, the MGM Grand, man, he wore one of the most unique outfits that we ever seen anybody wear as a professional fighter. You know what I'm saying? It came a long ways. It was jet black. The eyes was glowing. Everything was different. Now, I just want to make it perfectly clear to those of you that was making such a big deal about Deontay Wilder saying something about his costume. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up. I can be absolutely genuine without being sarcastic. It wasn't his outfit, okay? And I'm pretty sure he'll tell you it wasn't his outfit. So I'm not gonna talk on that. We're gonna talk about everything surrounding that particular night. But the good part about it is that he dropped into PBC podcast. It was good to for him to jump on. He went after Anthony Durrell. Anthony Durrell was talking about his fight with Jose Benavidez and when he's going to be back in the square and all that. But the primary was Deontay Wilder on the back end of that interview, which a lot of us boxing fans was waiting for the champ to return to the mic and let us know what's been going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've been worried about. That's what we've been thinking. That's what we've been trying to project in the shutdowns. Like, when we going to hear from Deontay Wilder? We finally did. So salute to the champ for getting back on the mic, man, and talking to PBC and letting his fans know and the supporters let us know how he's doing, everything else that's surrounding that, him and his family, the team and everything else that went on that night that left a lot of question marks. Life, love, what's good? It's good to have you on deck. So since I know I have a lot of, when I have Deontay Wilder titles up here, I get a lot of, pretenders. I get a lot of fake fans. So I put on my fake jury today. I said, why not, put on my fake jury for all the fake, boxing fans to jump on here sometime and want to criticize the champ. You know what I'm saying? I said, what better day to do that? I put on my fake jury, Hustle Gang t-shirt, and everything. And we're going to get this popping. I do have the audio. But first of all, I want to kind of talk about the night in question as far as February 22nd. It's a lot that we didn't usually see with the champ. You know what I'm saying? For him to go a total of 12 rounds with Tyson Fury the first time and then come in here, the rematch, and look very lethargic, look out of place. He just looked like he wasn't, he didn't belong in the heat of the moment like we usually see him pushing the pace. It just seems like he was a step or two off that night. And furthermore, you got to give Tyson Fury his just due for coming in there, understanding that this was a title shot, and he used every tactic in the book. I'm not saying he didn't box. Tyson Fury boxed. But what I'm saying is, there was a lot of tactics in there that was dirty, putting him in headlock, clinching, and everything else. And that's not an excuse. But what I am saying is, there's a whole lot of situation that looked a little bit fishy and funny with that particular bout, you know, with his gloves and him palming the face and all this other shit that took place that night. But at the end of the day, you know, salute Tyson Fury for getting the victory. But this right here today is about Deontay Wilder and everything we did not see that night. We didn't see the power. We didn't see his legs. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see the beast that usually step in there and you have to fear that right hand. We can see from home that he wasn't generating power with his combination. Even if he did the blind two or pull, you know, he pulled his jab and then, you know, try to get off his power shot. It did not have the same effect that it did the first time around. Let me get to some of the people that's in the building. Perky, what's good? What's good? Salute. Life, love for y'all dropping in the building. Taurus Savage in the building. Salute to you. Life, love say, man, we know Fury cheated. He's a lie, dope head, and just disgusting. We know Fury was using dirty tactics, and we know from the glove situation, it was something else that went against the guidelines and rules and regs in boxing. We knew that. We talked about it for quite some time. But like I said, like, I'm not denying what you just mentioned, Life, love. Hey, I get it. Tyson Fury did a lot of things that in combat sports, you know, people don't frown upon. And the reason why I'm saying they don't frown upon it in this particular circumstance is because they wanted Wilder to lose in the first place. And they got their wish. Wilder lost. They wanted him to lose. They was booing him as he was walking through the ring. And that's just fact, y'all. That's just fact. The masses that was there wanted the champ to lose, and he did. But it was good in the aftermath of it all to hear him finally, you know, step to the mic and talk to his fans, his supporters, and everybody else that may have been in the building or watching from home like myself. What exactly happened? And even though if you listen to Deontay Wilder quite a bit, he don't go into detail a lot about situations he may have experienced in fight camp. If he was injured in fight camp, he don't talk about it. You know, you never really hear him talking about shit that happened in camp. He'll just come into the fight and fight, and then the rest is what it is. You may hear some about it, you know, after the fight is over with. But he did say this. He said he wasn't himself. He wasn't Deontay Wilder. And people know that, you know, that wasn't the same fighter as usually in there defending his belt. And I agree with the champ in that perspective that he didn't look like the same fighter. He looked step behind what we used to seeing. His power wasn't there. His legs, he was disorientated, off balance. And you can kind of tell it in his facial expression. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't look like he was excited, even though it was a championship fight. I'm not saying inside that he wasn't excited to defend his belt. It just seems like his expression and overall demeanor, it just lacked, you know, that energy that we used to see in, man, that dangerousness. Miguel Sanchez, salute to you. What's good? Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Life Love say the sport doesn't deserve Wilder. Perky say, hey, Miguel, that's my boy. Got him to subscribe. I appreciate that, Perky. Salute Miguel Sanchez, man, for subscribing to the channel. Salute to you. Real talk. Fury has much more skill than Wilder. Listen, we're going to get into all that. As a boxer, we can get into all those other details about who has more skill than the other. I never said Tyson Fury didn't have more skill than Deontay Wilder. That's not going to be a topic of debate right now. More so, I want to stick to the lane I was in and us being able to hear what the champ had to say today. So y'all just tune in for a little bit and let's kick this off, people. And once again, thanks for the World Combat Sports supporters that's stopping through. And the ones I haven't seen in a minute, I appreciate you. Much love. and let's kick this off.
Going to be a good one. One of the biggest fighters, literally, in the sport of boxing today, someone who you were just discussing, the former WBC World Heavyweight Champion, Deontay Wilder. All right, Deontay, first things first, how are you and everyone in your family doing during this time of crisis?
We're doing just like any other family, just trying to get through these hard times, staying clean, practicing social distancing, making sure we are washing our hands at least 20 seconds each time. Just being able to still have a natural normal life, but still be able to follow the different instructions that's been provided for us all to try to to defeat this thing and overcome it. We are overcome it. We just trying to be that family that pay attention to a lot of things. But I've had a couple of people I know that family members have gotten it and been in hospitals and stuff. So it's very serious. This is a time it's crazy times. But my family is doing great.
That's good to hear. Now, are you in Alabama right now?
Yes, I'm in Alabama right now. Came back down here. I got a lot of little different things going on here, projects I'm doing and stuff. And it's not a big city, so it's not around a lot of things, and it's not too strict where I am and where I live. So everything is good. I think this is the perfect place that me and my family could be at this point in time.
Deontay, suddenly everybody's got a lot of extra time, it seems. What do you do to keep yourself busy?
Well, for me, I've been big into meditation. I've always said about meditating, using visualization. So, I live on a beautiful island here in Alabama. And
so the champ talks about using meditation as a way, daily process of getting, focus and centering himself, or whatever you choose to use meditation for, which is great. That's a positive thing, that people don't know too much about, but it's not the first time I'm hearing it. I know him and his team talk about meditation all the time. And for a lot of people, it really fine tunes them and keep them, not mentally stable, but only thing I can use is keep them centered, keep them surrounding where their zen's supposed to be, intact with who they are as a person. Seneca J, what's good, man? Thanks for dropping in. God Patrol, let's keep it moving.
Everything I have and need, I'm right here surrounded by, water, the nature, different little things that I love and enjoy, the scenery. And, I'm a type of person that I'm a homebody at heart. I'm always at home, no matter what home that I'm in or what state, I'm always at home. And so during these times, this is me and my assistant, me and my brothers, we always talk. And we were like, a lot of people were sitting there, they're bored and, going crazy during this time. But these times, this is what we do all the time. We love just, being amongst each other, amongst nature, and just sitting around thinking about different things for the future and just game planning. That's just all I do. So I'm very relaxed. I'm very comfortable. And, life hasn't changed for me. I'm very thankful for that.
Now, my understanding is you recently had surgery on your biceps. Can you tell us when and how that injury occurred and how recovery is going?
So what you just heard, the champ is just basically telling you all what you just heard. He's doing fine. This is the way it is down here in the South. We used to, hanging out. That's the way it used to be. You know what I'm saying? But some people still hang out, communicate, have family over, just lounge around. It's good to not be on an active fight schedule when it's in that perspective. You know what I'm saying? You get to be around family more, enjoy your kids, your girl, whoever you're around. You know what I'm saying? So now they about to bleed over into something that most people didn't know. That is him having a torn bicep. Now, if this news would have came out, y'all, after, because listen, this is what I'm saying. Well, you gotta respect the champ. You don't have to, but my respect. Because when he gets injured or when he has something that happens in training camp, because he is an awkward fighter, right? And he may injure something. You may not never find out till way after the fight. But what do we hear post-fight with Tyson Fury? We heard the outfit, 40 pounds, his legs wasn't there, and all the media ran with it. But you know what? I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. It's real talk. And salute to my source. You know who you are. Salute to you. I appreciate the info. But I knew about this after the fight. What he's about to say, I already knew about it after the fight. And, I text that person. I said, man, appreciate the info, but I just couldn't put it out there. I couldn't put it out there because there's a lot more pieces to this. If you listen to what Deontay is saying, he's not giving you the 100% of everything that transpired during that moment. But letting you know he had bicep surgery was absolutely fact of him hurting his bicep. That was absolutely fact. And look, instead of him making excuses post-fight and saying, oh, my bicep would hurt so people can go run with an excuse, you just heard a sidebar conversation. The uniform was this. It was 40 pounds. So hopefully this changed your mind about the uniform and understand why the champ performed the way he did. And just kind of read in between the lines to know what he isn't telling you. If you're smart enough, you'll know.
Yeah, recovery is going well. I'm in therapy. I ended up injuring it during my last fight, somewhere up in there. But
did you hear what he just said? He injured it in his last fight. Man, look, the champ up here acting like he in a canoe somewhere on the island. He said, I injured it somewhere in my last fight. He still ain't giving details. You know what I'm saying? He's still not giving you full details as to what happened because the fight is over with. He lost his belt, but yet he's just telling you, hey, yeah, I injured him in my fight, and he did, in fact, have surgery.
Everything is going great with it. That's another thing. I'm just focusing on recovery, getting myself back to full health, and getting ready to hopefully this corona stuff will be out the way, and we can get back to camp and get ready to go again sometime at the end of the year.
Now, has it affected you? You mentioned physical therapy. Has it affected you working out in any way?
Oh yeah, I can't. I can't work out right now. That's what I'm looking forward to. Once I get healed with my arm, I'm looking forward to just working out, being able to do the things that I love to do. Right now, I've just been sitting back and getting taken care of, which that's not a bad position either now. Getting taken care of, everything. All my meals been prepared special for me and brought to me. Just a lot of catering right now.
Wow. Between
my fiance and all the kids that I got around me. It's been a beautiful, man. I mean, like I said, man, it's nothing I can complain about at this moment in time. I know we all in the world is going through something together. I think this is the first time that us as a whole, as a world, is going through the same things. And, it's we all have to survive. And I love being around my loved ones, being able to get through the tough times.
Deontay, let's talk boxing a little bit. You've had more time to reflect on what happened against Fury in your last fight. Any more thoughts on what went wrong tactically or in training camp, that kind of thing?
No, my training, everything that happened, it happened the last 15 minutes into the fight. There's a lot of things that went on, There's a lot of things that I don't even want to talk about at this moment in time. I'm still reflecting on certain things, and I can't believe the things that happened. It happened to me, and it happened to me at that point in time in my career. Maybe I'll come out with some things later on, as things unfold, as I get into camp and stuff like that. But certain things I don't want to talk about at this moment in time. I'm still reflecting on it and trying to figure some things out.
So you heard Deontay Wilder saying he's reflecting on some things. He's trying to figure some things out, and he's still not giving the whole piece of the pie to the fans. But he just let you know that, yes, I did go into surgery and I had bicep surgery. He's letting you know in so many words that I'm giving just a little bit, because it can be many variables as to why he's just, spoon feeding it to the public, because they're gonna run with it. This PBC interview, popped up. I'm not the only one that tuned into it, but he has to keep it light so people just won't sit up here and start, downplaying it, vilifying him again, and talking about, oh, he's making excuses and all that. That's why he's just spoon feeding that shit to you. He's saying he has surgery and everything else. He's not really making a big deal about going into detail about what happened that night, because they want details as to what happened that night. What the media was able to put on a freaking wheelbarrow is this: the suit was too heavy and it kind of wore down his legs. But you haven't really heard him say anything about that right now.
You're referring to tactical things. I'm wondering, like, after the opening bell sounded, were there things you're saying to yourself now, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this, that kind of thing?
No, not at all. Even with the first of the bell, the thing about it is that it's easy to understand, what type of person Deontay Wilder was in that moment in time. Even when I took off my mask and the things that I was doing, I've been in this sport for a very long time. People have seen me fight, all over the world for a very long time. So people automatically knows, how I am and, how I should look. And people that know boxing know that wasn't Deontay Wilder that night. I was a zombie that night. It was something, like I said, I can't talk about a lot of things, but it wasn't Deontay Wilder tonight. You can tell from the mask, from my reaction to certain things that I was doing in the ring. You can look from the first fight into the second fight, and you said it was two different people, that night, from a guy that from the first start of the bell was in retrieve mode to the first fight. When the first start of the bell, a guy was on the hunt. You don't go backwards, you go forward. And that night, I wasn't myself. I felt like a zombie in there. I felt it. There's a lot of things I can't say. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things I'm just sitting back.
So a lot of things he can't say, I'm going to tell you. And for those of you that come on the channel, I just don't sit up here and fabricate shit. If he say he can't tell you, he's absolutely being genuine about not being able to tell you. Because once again, I have a partial understanding as to what he's talking about. Like I said, I was told about this after the fight, and I pretty much understand what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about, and there's no way possible he can put that out there right now. Probably, whenever he chooses to come out to the public with it, cool. But I ain't bluffing. I'm seriously, I'm not bluffing about it. What he's saying, he can't tell the general public. He's still spoon feeding it, just giving you a little bit. He said, hey, I took out the mask and people probably saw my expression, saw how I looked, and they can pretty much make the determination that it wasn't the bronze bomber. It wasn't the one that steps in the ring and that there's problems. There's punishment about to be administered. We're talking about the hardest hitting fighter in boxing. Deontay Wilder's still the hardest hitting in boxing. Let me get back to it.
And but we only can get stronger, learn from a lot of situations, learn from this situation.
Lion Killer, what's up? Denise Awards, salute. What's good?
In my eyes, I don't see Fury as a champion. He's still going. He ain't the champion yet. We still got one more fight left. And at the end of the day, I'm happy. My family is happy. I'm recovering, and I'm looking forward to giving the world the best of Deontay Wilder.
You sort of answered my next question. After the fact, how difficult was it to put the loss behind you and turn the page? It sounds like you did that pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to understand that, in life comes many ways. In life, many people lose more than they win. And the thing about losing, some people don't know how to bounce back off a loss in life. That's why when people win all the time, people always want to see a person lose. Not so much because they win all the time, but I look at it as a point. They want to see how that person get up. How do you get off the ground from losing and different things? Because
how do you get up off the ground from losing? I actually have a video. I have to find it when he was actually speaking about that in fight camp. Exact same words. You know, people want to see you lose. It can be him just talking in retrospect. You know what I'm saying? Just putting it out there metaphorically. And then it can be him talking about, you know, something he may be experiencing and what he's feeling around his fight camp or certain individuals that he may thought support him or what he's feeling as a champion in general. Because when you're at the top of the food chain, especially as an elite athlete, it's going to be people, especially in boxing, and you win so much, then they want to come pay to see you lose, like Floyd Mayweather. People start coming to pay to see Floyd Mayweather take the L. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they wasn't there to see him fight. Okay? I'm saying there's a lot of people there that see him lose.
You know, I told people, I may have lost in the ring, but I'm winning in life. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things. But, you know, I take this time and, you know, just sit back and make myself even hungrier. You know, sometimes you can be in a position and you can do something for so long period of time where you get used to certain things, you get comfortable with certain things. You know, you still have that hunger, but it ain't the same as when you first got into it, trying to get into the rankings and then trying to be a hot prospect and then go on to be fight for a world title and then become a champion. You know, it allowed that hunger to come back to where I, you know, for where I started to when I gained the title. So there's been a lot of different things, you know. I'm never down about losing because, you know, it only makes me strong to come back and to overcome and conquer. I know this is going to be the biggest moment in time in my life, you know, coming back around again. And boxing is amazing. You know, I can look back and say I was a part of it that made it what it is now. So excited, especially the heavyweight division is just booming. And I'm not done yet.
Were you surprised at how aggressive Fury was in the rematch?
No, I wasn't surprised. And I mean, I couldn't really. It's hard to explain. Like the first sound of the bell is like I was more in retreat mode. It's like I wasn't even there for real. Like I don't know how to say it without. It was just I wasn't there.
Gotcha.
That's all I can tell you. I wasn't there from the first start. I wasn't there. Yeah. You know, my whole body, everything. You know, but it's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Trust me. You know, and I'm just looking forward to coming back in there and doing what I got to do. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to feel like I'm making any excuses or anything like that. I just want the people to know that I'm happy. I'm in full health, and I'm coming back stronger than ever.
The third fight with Fury has been pushed back, you said, toward the end of the year. Do you think that extra time helps you to prepare?
Yeah, it helps me to rest as well. You know, I was going back to back and fighting, you know, kill after kill after killer. You know, I don't think it was anyone that was on the court.
You just heard him say he was going back to back, right? And look, once again, that's not to fabricate anything. You know, he's fighting Dominique Brazil, and then he's stepping there with Luis Ortiz, and then he turns back around and, you know, he steps in there with Tyson Fury. You know, that's like a little soft patch out of fight camp and then get back in fight camp. Within that stint, you know what I'm saying, you got to stay injury-free. And that doesn't mean he was injury-free throughout fight camp. It doesn't mean it. Just because a fighter doesn't say anything about it doesn't mean that, you know, they're injury-free. But coming up to a fight and a rematch that Fury did not take the immediate rematch, and he chose to fight two other fighters and then the WWE and then come back, he went in there and performed well against Wilder. But Wilder, like he said, he wasn't himself. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to respect the fact that he didn't say too much of anything after the fight except a sidebar conversation. I know a lot of people are getting, turned up, and just because he's just talking. And that's why I said I wore my fake jewelry, because y'all fake ass boxing fans come over here and show that negative attention. I appreciate it. I listen to your opinion too. You know what I'm saying? I read. It's all good.
Of course, I was fighting on to get to where I am now. So I'm gonna take this time, and it's been good though. I'm gonna take the time. I am taking the time to sit back and enjoy family and rest. I got an opportunity to really just enjoy my kids. Like I said, I just been going and going and going and stop. I get in camp, I'm out 3 months, but by doing that 3 months of time, I'm still, working. I'm flying here, I'm doing different things, and then by the time you get back home, by the time you get back in the camp, now you got to get away from your kids. So at this point in time, I'm just loving the space. I'm just loving the unity that I'm having with my kids and just watching the babies grow and just loving on all of them at this moment in time until it's time to separate myself from them again. And then Daddy, I just had to go to work.
Separate mean going back to work.
The surgery earlier. I'm assuming that you'll use this time also to recover from that. Have you been given a date when you'll be able to resume working out?
I gave a date sometime at the end of May, sometime at the middle to end of May, that I'll be able to get back to working out, sparring, different things of that nature.
Deontay, a lot of trainers have been offering you advice through the media. Have you considered adding any extra voices to your team? Or
next question that you're about to hear is something that was on the surface a lot after his post fight. I really want to touch bases on some of the questions that's in here. I heard somebody ask, what was Perky question? Perky said the last 15 minutes of the fight, he was done after the second round. And yes, if you just listen to what you just said, Perky, all right, and it's your opinion. It's all good, but I'm giving it to you straight down the middle too, right? If he wins seven rounds into the seventh round, right, and you say he was done in the second, where if it's 3 minutes in the round, right, and he said the last 15 minutes, 3 times 5 is 15, right? So you gotta, kind of put in perspective from the second round on to the finish. He wasn't right. He got dropped in the third. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of what you're saying, it was rhetorical because you kind of answer your own question. Your own comment. But thanks for dropping that in there, man. Line Killer asks, who is the interviewer? Man, you know what? It just slipped my mind. Damn, it just slipped my mind, man. When I was initially looking at the interview, it just slipped my mind. I will get you that info though, bro. Done Doubt in the building. Salute to you. Sprague 11 say more excuses. I give Fury his credit. I'm not sure if you listened to the interview. Are you speaking to me or Tyson Fury? Potentially, you may be speaking to me. I never didn't give Tyson Fury credit. Tyson Fury outboxed and he won. He took the title. That's all I'm gonna say on that. He said that was a good thing because he was gonna be super fit or something. I can tell you this to blend this in with Don Dollar's question: how many weeks in between Ortiz 2 and Fury? If you take the Brazil fight and then the fight he had with Luis Ortiz in November, and then turning back around, we're talking about near the end of November, right? He turns back around through the holiday in fight camp, however you want to look at it, whether it's an 8-week or whatever, he turns right back around out of a hard fight camp for Luis Ortiz, finish him in one round. I mean, in the 7th round was it? Comes back around, take about 1 week off, however. Whatever the case, get back in the fight camp and returns to the ring in February 22nd. So you can do the kind of calculation through the holidays into the new year and step back in the square in a rematch against Tyson Fury. That's like 3 tough fights, being in a tough fight camp the entire time. So more so, I'm not giving any type of excuses for Deontay, but that is wear and tear on your body. that is, the rigors of training you have to go through. But like I said before, Tyson Fury fought his fight. He fought a smart fight. We all know that Tyson Fury is the better boxer between those two. We know that. And Tyson Fury went in there and did what he had to do in the art of war to get the belt. Period. But my whole point for this interview was to let you see what the champ and let you hear what the champ had to say. And even in this interview, he's not giving any excuses. Bishop, what's good? Sprock said, I'm talking about Wilder. Okay. I didn't hear Wilder give any excuses at all.
Or listening to what those guys have been saying.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of people reach out and different things and whatnot, but you just have to be careful with that because a lot of people just see this time and they just want publicity. They want to be able to say they was the name that came in and stuff like that. And just look at it in just a different way. That's how I'm looking at it, and that's how I know boxing. Boxing is very crooked. It's a dirty business. You got to make sure you be careful. It's a corrupt sport as well, very. And people, you got to be careful about the people that you bring around. What the intent of that person is trying to come in to help, especially when they never reached out before and want to see an opportunity. I've seen so much. I've been around so much. I've had people tell me things to tell me not to go do this or say this, and then they turn around and do the same shit they told me not to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff go on in boxing. Who can you trust? But I am looking to bring someone in for sure. We don't have it down yet, but I'm definitely gonna bring. I got two people I'm bringing in. One of them he always come to camp on some basis or whatever. He always around, in and out anyway. But we'll see what happens. I think we got a great team that's gonna be formed, getting ready once everything go back to normal. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later, and I can get my team in order. And we can move forward with our game plan for the third fight.
Now, George Foreman says you guys had a pretty good conversation recently. Can you share what you guys spoke about?
And a lot of people was talking about, you heard what the champ said, right? This is what he said. A lot of people want to reach out to you that haven't reached out to you before. Now, shouldn't that be a point of concern? Real talk. In life itself, do you really look? A lot of people just got their stimulus check. I'm just using this as a far-fetched example. Y'all can run with it however you feel like. But look, the stimulus checks just hit the account, right? If you got people that's reaching out to you and you haven't even heard of them, are you going to show them that love like that? And you're going to say, what the fuck they calling me for? You know what I'm saying? What's this about? What's this person calling me? He just basically saying that certain people was reaching out to him and trying to act like they was going to render him some assistance if they needed. And they was fighters too. They was boxers. They was world champions. But throughout his career, you're talking about as long as this man has been reigning, as long as this man has been fighting, they haven't reached out to help him. And this is one of the most criticized boxers that has been championed, that hold the coveted WBC championship belt. One of the most criticized fighters that you'll see in the sport. Most fundamentally deprived. That's what they call it. His fundamentals are fragmented. He don't have any boxing skills. He just has a right hand, right? So it makes all the sense in the world when he says that people just reaching out to him and he has to make sure, what is this about? Why you want to talk to me now? Now that I have lost. You know who he's talking about.
Yeah, man, George, it was good talking to George. George is one of the guys that's been trying to get in touch for a good little bit, but you be moving so much and everybody have a schedule and stuff. And but during this time, everything is shut down. So it's always good to have great conversations at this moment in time. And we had a great conversation. It was a real good conversation. We talked about a lot of things that went on in his career, good and bad, a lot of, different tricks and trades that used to happen and certain things that he saw in this fight and a lot of knowledge that he applied to me. And, he was telling me how he wanted to show me some methods of strengthening certain parts of my body and stuff like that. So, but he definitely dropped a couple of gems down for me, you know, and it was good to see him. I think I'm gonna once everything clears up or whatever, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna come out and go see George and see him face to face, spend some time with him, and just, you know, intake some of that good old knowledge that he have up there.
That's great.
Deontay, Fury said that he was surprised you want to fight a third time. Do you have any reaction to that?
Listen.
No, I don't have no reaction. No one should be surprised. I am who I am. I'm Deontay the Buns from a Wild, you know, and nothing's going to change about that. Why wouldn't I not want it? You know, like I said, at this moment in time, you know, we're just sitting back. There's going to be a time and place where I'm ready to come out. It's going to be a time and place where I say what I need to say, you know. But looking at the fight, he know that wasn't me. I know that wasn't me, and the people in the boxing, everyone know that wasn't the real Deontay Wilder. Something was wrong with him, and you know, and we'll show. Like I said, it's a time and place for it all, and I'll reveal a lot of things, you know. But I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to get the people what they want to see.
As you start preparing for the third fight, I guess mentally, emotionally, what's your mindset? Are you angry? Are you just motivated? Is it just business as usual? Want to prove people wrong, or all of the above?
The interviewer, they're digging. You know, they wanted to know details about the fight. And that's what they're supposed to do, man, because nobody wants the media that you don't want to ask the tough questions. You know what I'm saying? So in a subtle way, the interviewers are trying to pry, dig, claw, peel away, and find some type of pinhole in Wilder's defensive armor to goddamn gives the fans something to run with. They want to make the interview interesting, but yet you know, they want that sprinkle of controversy behind it. You know what I'm saying? They want something that people can talk about, and he ain't giving it to him right now. So now he's talking, you know, he's trying to ask the champ, you know, were you mad after the fight? You know, he already gave you a light answer when it came to Fury, saying, why does Deontay Wilder even want to take this third fight? You know, I mean, who would ask a question like that? You think the champ's supposed to say, well, I do have reservations about taking a trilogy. He's not going to say that.
I mean, it's all the above. You know, it's more fuel to the fire. You know, as I look at it as well, this is set up for, you know, the third will even set up even bigger. You know, so this is going to be it right here. This is the last final straw right here, as I see it. And you know, it's all the above. I'm channeling everything in that happened. Everything that happened towards me, you know, I'm cutting my grass, getting rid of all the snakes in the grass.
So you heard Deontay Wilder say it was the last straw. Now I don't know how exactly to absorb that. The last straw in what perspective? I don't know. I know he said he had like 4 years left in the sport. The last straw could mean many branches on how he expects the public to perceive what he means by the last straw. But, you know, he's just talking about bringing a couple of people in, to at least try to improve certain areas of his game, right? So taking in this lane right here, if he was able to get as far as he was with, you know, what is perceived as just a power puncher's, you know, chance in the ring against the elite high-ranking fighters, then he should be that much better, being that we have the COVID-19. Listen, the COVID-19, he only has time once he starts training next month to even get better and get back in there if the fight is in October. Now, then you're going to have the people saying, what about Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury is going to get, we've seen the best Tyson Fury, in my opinion. We've seen the best Tyson Fury. The game plan that Sugar Hill Stewart and Tyson Fury came up with was a solid game plan. Can Tyson Fury get any better than what he's already presented in the first one and in the rematch? But if you're going to criticize Deontay Wilder, you have to understand and give him credit also. He has a huge window of getting better. He has enough time now during the shutdown to get better and hone his craft, sharpen up his skill set, and add some wrinkles to his game. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's the only thing I can say. It can happen. He has ample amount of time to make that shit happen.
You know, it's a lot of things. This time just allowed me to look back and just to really dig in the weed and see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can have a lot of great people around you, but, you know, certain jealousy of people you just can't control. You know, you get to a certain level and you think people are happy with you, you know, but everybody wants certain things. Everybody wants what you have, but they don't want to work as hard as you or sacrifice as much as you. So, you know, people get envy of the things that they can't have. And it's one of the things I had to weed out and had to change up some certain things. But it's gonna be good, man. I can't wait. I think he should look forward to it. Don't worry about if I won or not. Just look forward to seeing me there when it's time.
I've followed a lot of fighters have gone through a similar ups and downs. It's a hell of a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, people don't understand boxing is a business like none other. You know, it's a sport that you gotta be able to trust people, and that's the hard part. You know, being able to trust people that's around you. You know, you can get some people that'll be around you for years and never show signs of anything until that moment that they, you know, get offered something or someone come along and try to do. I mean, so many different ways, just like it's so many different ways to make money in boxing. You know, boxing is one of these sports where, you know, we do as we do, you know, free. That's why I say the things I say and I speak how I speak, you know, because I understand how cruel this sport is. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this sport. You know, if you don't make it in boxing and you spend your whole years of career devoting you and putting in everything you got in the boxing, if you don't make it, then you stuck. We don't have retirement plans. We don't have, you know, 401ks that they set up for us and different things. It's like in boxing, either you make it or you don't. And you don't make it, then you just straight fuck. Basic plain.
He says straight fuck.
You know, so with that being said, it just, when you're dealing with money.
No cap.
Money is the root of all evil. And a lot of evil shit goes on in boxing. It's a lot of things that I had to see for my own self, a lot of things that I experienced that very night for myself, you know, which is still something that has scratched my head. We try to put together, but, you know.
Deontay, in closing, do you have anything you'd like to say to your fans?
To all my fans, first off, I just want to tell you guys, especially my day ones, that I love you so much. You know, thank you for the love and the support. Thank you for the support that you've been giving me during these times. You know, I know I'm a king. I know I'm a great king. I know I'm a great leader. I've led y'all so far. I know I'm an inspiration to so many. I know I motivate so many. And just want to tell you guys that I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere at all. Like I said before, we may have lost on that night in the ring, but we're winning in life. And that's where it counts. Most of all, I'll be back. I'll be back stronger than ever. And when I come back, baby, you'll see us regain what we regain our title and become two-time champion. And we'll continue with regular programming. Until then, I just want you guys to stay safe during these times. We're together on this. This is a fight. This is a championship fight that the world is in. So we got to train hard. We got to do the right things. You know, take cautions and the correct protocol to get through this so we can get to the fight. We got to get through this to get to where we got to go. Again, I love you. Thank you for the support. Till next time. God bless, baby.
There you have it, people. The champ has spoken. That was an interview he did today with PBC. Appreciate the champ for speaking with the fans. Real talk. Let me get to some of these comments. Perkins say, next fight, show us what Wilder's all about. Because show us what Wilder's all about, because everyone can have a bad night. He had his. So let's see what he personally. So let's see what he's about. Personally, I think he would do much better. 11 said his bicep. Don Dollar say heavy as the head who wear the crown. Defense like Ali Fury. 11 said when your head's massive, you need big legs to support it. I mean, I can understand that you may just have I don't know, your feelings may reside on the heavy on negative energy and obscenities or whatever criticism you choose to talk about the champ. And that's who you are as a person. But I'm not sure if you really understood the quote or what he was actually talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure why you sizing the man's head up and need big legs to support it. It's totally opposite of anywhere close to what he meant by heavy as the head who wear the crown. We all know what that means, though. Lion Killer said the last time recall a heavyweight fighter fighting once a week or close to that time period at Sprague 11 was a young Mike Tyson in the mid 80s, approaching 40 years ago. And he was an anomaly. Lion Killer say fighters fighting at such a high rate of frequency essentially died out by the 1970s. You had some fighters fighting 40 times a year. It's just not the case with this day and time because boxing has changed. And also, fighters that's fighting this day and time, they have to get paid to fight. And there's no need to be on a schedule where you're fighting 40 times and fighting the same person 4 or 5 times, even fighting that same person in a month several times. We're in a whole different era now. Fans are not gonna come out here and see that. And boxing isn't the only sport, The era's just changed in general. Lion Killer, so it's not relatively recently in the States. Life Love says Fury nor AJ has done what Wilder did, 10 defense of titles. And just to underscore what Life Love just mentioned is this. It's absolutely true. If you have, I always ask people, first and foremost, I say, do you think, Anthony Joshua is, better than Deontay? And the answer 10 times out of 10 is going to say, yeah, because most people want to hurry up and quickly say, because he's a unified champion. But when you ask them about Andy Ruiz, they're doing the same thing. They're criticizing Deontay Wilder, who isn't doing it. They're basically giving Anthony Joshua excuses for why he lost against Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? All I hear is excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse as to why Anthony Joshua lost. You know what I'm saying? Right off the bat, you have people advocating. They're walking around here protesting about why Anthony Joshua lost that fight. But have they defended their titles a total of 10 times and stepped in the square for 11? No, they haven't. Have Tyson Fury defended either one of his titles? I'm talking about as he's a unified champion or as the WBC. He hasn't. He hasn't defended it. But no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about anything, but yet they'll sit up here and tell you, well, he had a mental illness, man. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's easy to put a goddamn header on that bitch and say, oh, it was mental illness. They even changed that shit in Wikipedia. They didn't have that before he came back to the sport. That shit was changed, edited, revised. Lion Killer said, I can't speak for other areas of the world. Sprague said, a lot of respect. Heavyweight fighters have fought frequently, well after Tyson in the 80s. Perkins said, really, what else is going to say, though? He has said these things to hype the fight because his last performance wasn't the best. He has convinced the fans to watch the third fight. What is he saying to hype the next fight? Really, he didn't say too much to hype anything. Real talk. That shit didn't get me hyped up. Like, what was he saying to hype the fight? It was more so him retaining and not really voicing in depth about what happened that night. That's all he's doing. It's not like he's putting out promises saying, you know what, I guarantee you I'm gonna go over there and knock him out in 3 rounds. I guarantee you. We're not getting the same lead up like we did with him stepping in here to the rematch. You know what I'm saying? The one that was saying he was going to knock somebody out in 2 rounds was Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was talking trash too, and he was saying he was going to stop Deontay in 2 rounds. After he stops him in the 7th, people's like, well, he said he's going to stop him in 2 rounds. But Deontay Wilder, and in this PBC interview, he really didn't talk no shit at all. I don't think it was to hype anything up. They mentioned Tyson Fury saying this. What did Tyson Fury say? He said, I can't believe Deontay is taking a 3rd fight. Why would he say that? What is a man that compete in one of the toughest sports there is in combat sports? Why would he sit up there and cower it down and say, you know what? I am a little bit optimistic about going in there fighting Tyson Fury and getting my belt back. Why would somebody put out there King? The King will rise again. And he stepped in there for his 11th defense. He's in the name of some of the greats as far as defending his title as a heavyweight. Why would he sit up here and bow down and capitulate and drop to his knees and kowtow and act like, hey, I'm scared now? How's that happen? He was still on his feet when the ref stopped the fight, when Kenny Bailey stepped the fight. That's not an excuse. That's what happened. Lion Killer say prospects, not top shelf prospects, often fight more frequently developmental purposes. I agree with that. We have prospects like Daniel Dubois. He's not fighting all the time, but he's out there. And prominent F.A. Jogba. He's one of those big time names that they really trying to groom right to raise up, make it up the ranks to get that shot. Still got a lot of growth though. Dollar said, Bomb Squad to this day. Get the likes up. I appreciate that, man, for everybody who stopped in. Lion Killer said, my feelings is this. Wilder had 10 title defenses. However, you feel about him, he is ahead of many names when it comes to championship fights. Fury had his number. Can he make adjustments and overcome? And that is the underlying question. What adjustments will Deontay Wilder make? It's not a question of does he have to make adjustments? It's no question. Deontay Wilder has to return back to the square to make adjustments if he wants to get his title back, period. The blessing in its disguise is this. We're on COVID-19 lockdown. So what that allows the champ to do is get in there and start cooking and improve and add some wrinkles and get those names in there. He has ample amount of time, y'all. This trilogy is going to be epic. This trilogy is absolutely going to be epic, y'all. He has ample freaking time to improve his skill set. Seriously, just take a look at it, man. If he starts training May, June, July, August, September, October, do you know how long if they stay on track, if the calendar stays green and that fight is held in October, November, or whatever, that's ample amount of time for Deontay Wilder to improve his skill set. Good point, there, Lion Killer. Sprague say, Wilder chose to do it. He said it would be a benefit that he was putting fitness on top of I'm not sure what that says. Putting fitness on top of fitness. Putting fitness on top of fitness. His decision, no excuses. Life Love say Bomb Squad. Life Love say, and as this time, they realize it's not getting, it was not healthy to have that many fights in 1 year. And that's true, he did have a schedule, but once again, people are not gonna write him out a check that give him credit. You know what I'm saying? Put credit to his account when it comes to an elite champion. They're not gonna credit him and say, yeah, you had a tough schedule in 2019. You had this many fights in 2018. They're not gonna show him that love. Denise said Wilder must make adjustments. Absolutely. We all agree in consensus with that. Wilder, it's not even an option. Wilder has to make adjustments. He knows that. He mentioned it. He wouldn't have said he's bringing people in there to improve, to train, to get some more advice, for somebody to basically give him a different picture to what he's used to seeing. He even mentioned in his interview about complacency. You being at the top for so long, you may be doing things the same routine. It's time to switch it up a little bit. Fragment the normality. Getting place yourself in a zone of uncomfort, and go with it from there. Like Love said, he was a dopehead, had nothing to do with mental illness. Man, we absolutely on the same sheet with that. It's just amazing how the public forgives him so much for coming back to the sport and using that timeline to come back to the sport to get a PR team to say, what we're going to use mental illness because you're the perfect candidate for it. Not only were you on PEDs, not only were you on cocaine, not only were you on alcohol, not only were you stripped of your titles, but you was mentally ill. You had to leave the sport. And even Tyson Fury said it. I left the sport due to mental illness. And I'm trying to convince you all to understand one thing, right? Tyson Fury never defended a single belt. He won the titles. Was he mentally ill to go in there and defeat Vladimir Klitschko? Was he mentally ill? You have to take that and be bright. You know what I'm saying? You have to be bright and say, if you went in there and defeated a guy who people cherish and consider one of the best heavyweights, right? You was able to go defeat him. What happened with your mental illness then? If you pop for something that affected your title win against Vladimir Klitschko, then it's not a time period after that to say you had a relapse. No, it was immediately. Boom, you was gone. You was out. You pop. Your cousin pop. You was out of the sport. You ballooned up to the freaking 6,000 stones, and you sitting around here walking around like a person that never even stepped in the ring as an elite boxer. Perky say, you think Wilder has to box more? Let me see. I'm trying to find the message from Perky. You think Wilder has to box him on his next fight? Then I appreciate that sniper there, Don Dada. You think Wilder has to box more in his next fight than instead waiting for that one-punch knockout power? We know he has to do more. What did he want to look? He is his own weaponry. He has a mind. He has to make decisions, and those decisions have to be executed. For him to come back the same person is saying, well, he was stubborn. He ain't trying to win his title back. He's basically telling you he's bringing people into the camp. So, of course, he's not going to come in there with one-punch knockout power and just throw the right hand, pull the jab and throw the right hand, or throw a 1-2 and hope the right hand land. He's going to come in there with something different. And we know he needs to work on, combinations, learn how to punches and bunches, throw combinations. And it would be good if he knew how to box in the clinch, close distance, in the pocket, throw combinations, work on his dirty boxing like James Toney. James Toney was beautiful at that, punching on the inside, throwing those uppercuts, hooks to the body, just being unpredictable. Most of what we saw in the clinch between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was headlocks. You know what I'm saying? It was Tyson Fury leaning on Deontay Wilder. So the second fight, of course, Tyson Fury is going to do it again. You know why? Because it really wasn't nothing for him to be scared about in the rematch. Kenny Bayless wasn't even warning him about too much of anything during that fight. You know what I'm saying? He had already put the man in several headlocks he learned in the freaking WWE with Braun Strowman. He was using all them tactics. So, of course, he need to work on preventative maintenance, not being placed in a predicament where Tyson Fury is able to, put his head down and lean on him that way, use up unnecessary energy. So to answer your question, of course, he's going to come in there with more skills, man, and throw more combinations. Better footwork. He needs better footwork. But once again, there's not a lot of heavyweights out there that move around. I still think to this day, Luis Ortiz has the best footwork out of the heavyweights. I like love say, but that's white privilege for you. Don Dollar say, World Combat Sports, we need the ref Kenny Bailey's interview. I'm gonna hit him up again, but Kenny Bayless, we'll see. It's not like I haven't hit Kenny Bayless up. I just don't put everything out here, but they don't respond to a lot of media, especially if it's dealing with a fight like, they want to answer questions about a fight that was the magnitude as Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Even though, the fight was stopped and they say it's no questions, Tyson Fury won the fight. His corner threw in the towel. Deontay Wilder's corner threw in the towel. Kenny Bayless really don't have a lot of questions to ask like Jack Reese. He doesn't. They just gonna, if somebody really want to pop some tough questions on him, it's going to be about the holding. It's going to be about the headlocks. It's going to be about the palm to the face, certain things like that. But it's nothing Kenny Bayless can't handle. Sprague said he had the Marlin length. He had Marlin length training camps. He chose to do it. Sprague, everybody chose to do it. Come on, man. Every fighter choose to get them in the ring and undertake the sport of boxing. I mean, what are you saying? He chose to do it. He's being as best as he possibly can. He's daring to be great. He was stepping in there for his 11th title defense, man. That's anybody who steps in the ring. So you're going to support a fighter, they take an L, and then you want to toss them out to the garbage. And then once they start going on a winning streak, you want to say, okay, let me see if they're still in there. Let me recycle this fighter. You pull them back out. It doesn't work that way, man. He chose to do it. He said it would benefit him. It's his own mistake. He didn't have to take those fights. Okay, if he wouldn't have took those fights, then how does it benefit him as a fighter? And he's the WBC champion. More so, you should credit him and say, I salute you for your activity, for being an active champion, for being a people's champ. That's the only thing I can say about that. If he doesn't step in the ring and fight nobody of quality opposition, then he's criticized. If he tries to fight Anthony Joshua, and there's all these excuses as to why it cannot happen, and all the low ball deals, then you say he should have took your low ball deal. But when he's actually taking initiative and being active in the sport, you shut him down. You cut him off at the head and say he chose to do that. That's everything in life. We choose to do. We choose to get up and go to work because we know we have to get paid, right? So this man has a family to support. Man, come on, be better, bro. Come on, Sprague, man. It's your opinion, real talk. But you being petty, dog. You being petty for real. Life Love say, and you see how Fury trying to spin this? He knew from the first fight it would always be 3 fights. I hate a snake. I totally agree with Life Love for this simple fact is what I know. I know this was signed in 2018. Like, this isn't something that just pops up. They knew they had it. So for them to go in there for the first one, draw, and then come in here for the rematch, we could have said the same thing. And if you're really analyzing and be smart, intellectually, focus on what's being said here from Tyson Fury, you will understand how he's used to the grass. Because a lot of us can say, damn, I'm surprised Tyson Fury would have wanted to come back and fight Deontay Wilder after being dropped on his head in the 12th round and going up and seeing the light. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that Tyson Fury would have wanted to take the rematch. And you know what? Tyson Fury did not take the immediate rematch. It was his choice, right? That's what Sprague said. It was his choice. But no one's going to mention that. It was Tyson Fury's choice not to take the immediate rematch. He had to go up here and fight Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen and get cut over his eye and then go jump off the top rope in the WWE and then come back and fight Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder was such a pushover, an easy go, he would have took the immediate rematch, but he wasn't ready. John Fury was saying that, you know, his son was, you know, concussed. He was in a bad place. That's from John Fury. And then as the fight get ready for the rematch, he's saying that Tyson Fury is going to knock him out. Okay, that came to fruition. You know, the fight was stopped, but Deontay Wilder was still on his feet. That's fact. That's public record. That's not to be made up. Don't sit up here and try to put all the unnecessary drama and climax and suspense to it and say, oh, he was on his feet, but his eyes was in the back of his head. No, the drama is when Tyson Fury was laying on his back in the 12th round, his eyes and mouth was open. Now that was worse than what we seen with the 7th round stoppage, with Deontay Wilder still being on his feet and the towel coming into the ring, because he had just hit Tyson Fury with a hook. He had just, you know, hit Tyson Fury with a hook. But when Tyson Fury was knocked out and he got the long count, guess what? We have the position to say that Tyson Fury was knocked the fuck out. The fight should have been stopped. Life Love said, that's why sometimes you have to leave people where they are. Wilder should have left Fury in his cup. Fury never appreciated what Wilder did to him. Don Dada said, Wilder went to Rome and the Super Bowl. What about COVID? Well, I'm not gonna, you know, talk about his travels or whatever on how people travel. There's plenty of people that's traveling. It's plenty of people out here that has businesses that isn't gonna stop. They never will stop during a pandemic like this. So they have the PJs, they have all the other transportation that we don't have. And if you want to travel places, man, I don't get into one thing I don't like talking about: a grown man's money and, you know, family shit on the decisions they make with their family, because that ain't none of my goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? But I totally get what you're saying, Don Dollar. You know, but that ain't shit I have to, that ain't important to me right now, man. Life Love say, why are some people acting like Wilder didn't acknowledge he will make adjustments? No matter what he does, you people will still be negative. And that's all I'm saying. No matter what Deontay Wilder said in the interview, people are still going to criticize him like he up here making excuses. And that is exactly why you get the spoon. He's spoon feeding you bullshit. Look, I'm telling you, he's spoon feeding you bullshit. He's just giving you enough to say, let them figure it out. He's not even telling you the entire story, because he's saying basically you don't deserve it. Why am I going to tell you truly what happened? He's just keeping it light, and he's spoon feeding you shit, and he wants you to just run with it and figure it all out, because people want to criticize him all the time. Sprague said footwork. I agree. You know, Wilder can work on footwork. Life Love say, I'm a mental health professional, so I can speak on the fact Fury misusing the word mental illness. Sprague said, if you're a mental health professional, you wouldn't say that you just you wouldn't say that, so you just expose yourself. I'm not sure what that means, man. I don't know what that response means there, Sprague. Sprague, be happy, bro. Life Love say Fury had all the resources to get help, but he wanted to smoke crack instead. Sprague say exposed, not a mental health profession, just a fanboy, just clearly. Come on, man. It's not even boxing related, bro. If that's her profession, that's her profession, man. If she made that statement, it means nothing. She's not the one that's basically assessing Tyson Fury. They're not having sessions together. therapy sessions. It's just the opinion, bro. Keep it on boxing, man. That dollar say Jack interviewed with World Combat Sports. Go check it out after the live. I appreciate that, man. I did interview Jack Reese, and I did tell him face to face that I thought it was a long count. He may indeed look at me different. I did see his expression change, but overall, in my opinion, Jack Reese is a good person when I see him in person. He's a good person. Him and Bill Clancy, and every time I see them two, hey, I don't have nothing negative to say about Jack Reese. But I did tell him face to face, I said I thought it was a long count, and I meant it. Perkins, the third fight was already signed for the second fight. Patrick Williams, good evening. What's good? What's good, Patrick? Line Killer said people have their sides picked for whatever reason and for whatever motives. It doesn't change the fact that a third fight must happen. A champion is not a champion until it starts defending titles. Facts. Real talk. We still waiting on Tyson Fury to defend the title. And the good thing about that rematch clause is I know a lot of you hating ass motherfuckers out here want him to go over there and fight Anthony Joshua. It's not going to be that damn easy. And I know somebody up there, wherever they from, I don't want to really put the blame over across the pond, but they put that shit out there that's, they trying to somehow, some way buy out Tyson Fury's contract so it can be none and void, buy out the contract so they can put on a fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury for the unification. I get into that after I finish reading these questions. Y'all stay wanting Anthony Joshua to win. Y'all stay wanting Anthony Joshua to win, man. Most overrated heavyweight, Anthony Joshua. The most overrated heavyweight. But good point there, Line Killer. There have been a lot of belt winners, but few champions. And champions are determined as to how they defend their belts. People, come on, be real. Come on, champions are defined on their defense of their titles or multiple titles. That's how they determine. Look at Terrence Crawford, for instance. Terrence Crawford, 3-division champion, right? And was undisputed at 140, right? But people don't give him credit. His first fight at welterweight moving up, he fought Jeff Horn. So he fought a tough Aussie, but then again, he fought Terrence Crawford. Terrence didn't even knock him out in the first or second round. I think he stopped him in the 10th round, right? They still don't want to give the man credit for stepping up and facing the champion. Mississippi King, what's good? What's good? I believe that a lot of people in the boxing organization played on Wilder defeat, period. You're not going to get no resistance here on that statement because a lot of people was criticizing him before the fight, and a lot of people still criticizing him post-fight. But what I did like, to a point, half and half, was Wilder didn't come out except with a video where he went to Africa before all this COVID-19 took place and all that. So he went on vacation as a champ should, did what he had to do with the fam, right? Just like after the Luis Ortiz fight, him and his fam went over there and visit the Pope. Okay? So he went over to Africa, and that's the only thing he put out. The king will rise. And people were dogging him. He ain't no king. He lost his belt and all that. But you have to understand what is awaiting. The contract. Y'all get up here and think it's going to be easy for them to say, just like Eddie Hearns jump on here and say, we're trying our best to see, if somehow we can make this fight the next fight. Like Wilder's not even in the frame. Like you're trying to act like this man is not even in the frame of discussion. And then it turned around that we hearing that Frank Warren say, we're going to do our best to try to see if, he can take step aside money or whatever. What's step aside money? Do you know how much the black fight fans criticize Deontay Wilder right now? So just imagine if Deontay Wilder would have took step aside money and not went back in there with Tyson Fury. Come on. After 10 successful defenses, Could you imagine him taking step aside money and letting Tyson Fury go over there and fight Anthony Joshua? Wet confetti chin, Anthony Joshua. You know why everybody was buying toilet paper during this COVID-19? They was donating that shit to Team Joshua to pack in his chin. That's what they was buying that toilet paper for. Because anybody who knows Anthony Joshua chin is full of confetti and wet toilet paper. Real talk. Patrick Williams say, I never seen a referee get down and check on the boxer before the 10 count. The man literally cradled his head. Hey, man, I have mentioned this shit before. Man, Patrick Williams, man, you hit it on the head for real. Within the ABA, right? A referee really doesn't supposed to be that close to a fighter when giving that count. When counter fight, doing the count of 10, when fighter's down. They're not supposed to get that close to suggest to basically help or assist the fighter out of their state. They're not supposed to do it. So hearing Patrick say, okay, he was down there damn near about to cradle his head and give us a freaking, Forrest Gump moment. I'm like, God damn, dog. Like, how close do you need to get to Tyson Fury? He should have been called out. Tyson Fury should have been called out. In that way, they can give a 10 count, which is actually a 20 count. They can count one every 2 seconds. All right. So when you look at the way Jack Grease gave the count, I'm just saying, if I really want to count the 10 slow as fuck, I can do that shit. I can take my sweet ass time and count the 10 as long as I want. I just can't make it too obvious because this camera's rolling. But initially, when the fighter gets knocked down, that's when you can give them a little bit more time. You can look over there at the timekeeper, and then tell. This is an easy way to do it. Tell Deontay Wilder, make sure he's in the neutral corner. And when you're supposed to pick up the count at 7, you can pick up the damn count. I mean, you can start counting like 3 or 4. Nobody's gonna sit up here and have the camera zoomed in on the timekeeper. The referee peeks over there and picks up the count. Then they're supposed to keep that count in their head while they basically instructing the other fighter, which was Wilder, to go to the neutral corner. He didn't have to do that. Wilder was already over there. Tyson Fury was on the floor, and he got up at 9, which was 12, or whatever the case may be, man. But I totally agree, Patrick. Real talk. Life Love say Fury ran from the immediate rematch, but none of his butt sniffers talking about that, man. For sure. Nobody's talking about Fury not taking an immediate rematch because it never happened, right? So this is what I heard some people say. Him and his so that's basically what excuse they was having for Tyson Fury when he didn't take the rematch. He can do what he wants. If he didn't feel like it was a good time for him, being in there with Deontay Wilder, who has that powerful right hand, he can take some time off to do what he got to do. But I'll tell you this right here. If Deontay Wilder wouldn't have been on board to take this trilogy when it was in his contract and decided to take step aside money, the black fight fans, I'm talking about my people, the main people to be getting on here criticizing the champ, right? They would have said he's a coward. He's scared. See, he got his ass whooped, so he don't want to come back to the fight. They would have been dogging that man. They would have been dogging him to no end. Every time his name pop up, they would have been dogging the shit out of him. And that's just what I feel. That's just what I feel, man. Fury and his dad can't even leave the country because he's a thug and a menace to society. Dundada, 9th Horn TKO. Okay, it's the 9th round. Appreciate that, man. Lion Killer say send the link. Okay. Perky said, I think I think Wilder beats Joshua. You know what? Tell me why you think that. Before I respond to your comment, Perky, let me know why do you think that Wilder beats Joshua after losing to Fury? Yeah, I fixed that. I fixed that, Perky. I fixed that. Let me drop this link in here right quick. But I want to show love to the chat. For those of you that tuned in, if you want to donate to the channel, you know you can. And for those of you that was here, appreciate all the support. Speaking about champ Deontay Wilder, it's been an absolute, always pleasure talking boxing. Let me put this. If I even. I gotta even find out where you even at, man. How did I send you the other link, bro? Weak chin Joshua. I think Wilder knocks Joshua out. Well, I've been saying for the longest time, even in 2018 when they was negotiating with Joshua, right? I felt that the reason why Eddie Hearns wanted to fight to be in the UK so bad, because that is their chessboard. They would be able to place the referee that they want and pretty much have it play out just like the Charles Martin and bro, I just dump it in the chat, man. I don't really want to put the hold on for a second. Yeah, what up, man? Yeah, I already copied it. I'm just saying to send it to you though. I already did that. No, I was trying to look for you on Facebook. I'll just dump it in the live chat. All right. So when Eddie Hearns in 2018 was basically lowballing the shit out of Wilder, talking about that 12 flat fee, 15, a lot of people were saying and sounding like it was a round of civility, right? Like we was on, like we was doing slave labor or something. He should just go ahead and take that flat fee, like the man don't have a family to support. Like if you lower yourself to that standard and take a 12 million flat fee when you have other people to pay, then how are you going to be able to say you worth more than that the next time you go in there to a big fight? How are you going to say you worth any more? They just going to tell you, hey, well, with Eddie Hearns and them, you took a 15 million flat. And you trying to come over here and say you worth 20, 25 mil? You took a flat fee. I mean, how are you worth more than what you settled for over there? But he wasn't even giving Carlos Takam. He didn't do that for Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin. He didn't do any of that shit. He did it for Deontay Wilder. He wanted to make a freaking point. They wanted to have him discouraged, stressed out. And you know what's so crazy about the Warrior and Deontay Wilder? He was willing to goddamn take the shit. He was willing to take the 12 million just to go over there because he knew he can fuck Joshua up. He was willing as a champion, and they're not going to say too much about this. He was willing as a freaking champion to take 12 and go over there. But then they came up with something else. And then when Joshua came on live, I did a video without getting permission from Daddy Hearn, and he said, 50 million, give me that shit tomorrow and we fight. They came up there and did it. And then he turned around. It's not in the best interest. I have so much things going on, so many business. It's not in the best interest for me to take a fight. But see, the stipulation in that 50 million was Deontay Wilder wanted the fight to happen in 2018, and he wanted it in the States. Where? The same place where, him and Tyson Fury fought, and where Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz. He wanted it in Vegas. Anthony Joshua was scared to death to come over to Vegas. Come on. Look, Anthony Joshua was scared to fucking death to come over here to Vegas and face Deontay Wilder. I'm not going to lie to you. I would have loved to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua for the undisputed championship fight in Las Vegas. I would have liked to witness, once again, how the American fans would have reacted. Who would they have root for or cheered for walking down to the ring in that particular matchup? Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder? Knowing the bullshit that Eddie Hearns and Joshua was taking Deontay through, who would they have been cheering for walking to the ring? I don't want to prognosticate any negativity, but I can almost tell you that the way people was feeling about Anthony Joshua before he got his ass exposed was the same shit I was telling people in the groups when they was kicking me out and they didn't want to hear it. All they wanted to do is talk about, oh, he's selling out. He's selling out arenas. He's selling out Wembley. I say, motherfucker, do your research. He only sold out Wembley once. The first time he was in there with a boxer named Matt Legg, he didn't sell out Wembley. He didn't sell out Wembley when he fought Alexander Povetkin September 22nd. He didn't sell out that shit. You're talking about all those micro freaking arenas. That's what you was talking about. He wasn't selling out no Wembley with any other fighter except Vladimir Klitschko, because his name alone, his history in the sport of boxing, his resume, his body of work, everything. That's who sold out Wembley. Vladimir Klitschko going in there to face Anthony Joshua. And look, they handpicked Vladimir Klitschko, who been out the sport for like a year, close to a year and a half. They handpicked him. Perk said, I think Wilder knocks Joshua out. Willie Lowe. What's going on, my brother? What's good, Willie? Thanks for dropping in. Mississippi King, same referee in Cotto versus Margarito. Did Wilder versus Fury 2 as suspect? What you think? Man, I said what I had to say on Wilder versus Fury 2. I thought that Fury should have been counted out and he should have took that L. And then not only should he took the L, but they should have been coming back in this rematch, and Fury should have been the one with the one on the loss record. It should have been him. Perkins say, oh, I dropped it in there, line killer. Perkins say, you think boxing still corrupt, even going through that length of using referee? You know, that C word, man, when it comes to boxing, I like to use the I word, interesting, because I'm media, right? I'm not going to say there isn't certain parts of boxing that has unsavory characters that's up to no good. You know what I'm saying? I'll be a fool not to say boxing doesn't consist of that. But I'm not going to characterize boxing as a whole as being corrupt. I'm just not going to do it. But I can say it's very interesting in the way certain areas of boxing do business. We know that. Perk said they're saying reasons Joshua last. Okay, they're saying reasons Joshua last Ortiz because he said he had Ruiz. You talking about Ruiz? Said he had a concussion prior to the fight. They're gonna say whatever they want to say, man. They're gonna say whatever they want to say to you know, be fearful of coming over there to Madison Square Garden and fighting. They're gonna say what the hell they want to say to give Joshua all the freaking excuses. At first, when Joshua lost, he said, I don't have any excuses. He's a better man. And then he started coming out with all this other miscellaneous shit. Let me put Line Killer on here. He started coming out with all this other bullshit that Joey DeWeco knocked him out in sparring. And then they said, no, Joey didn't knock him out in sparring. And so where did the concussion come in at? You know what I'm saying? Where did the concussion happen? All the way to the ring or what? Hey, Line Killer, can you turn down your mic a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I forgot this hoe was sensitive.
Your shit is goddamn ESPN, goddamn it. Hey, everybody on deck, man. Hey, this is Lion Killer, man. Salute to him. If you haven't already did it, man, follow him on his channel. You know, good friend, man. And what you got to say about this discussion, man?
Well, hearkening back to the beginning of the Wilder discussion, I watched a lot of partialness in the chat, which is to be expected in boxing. The thing is, I try to look at boxing from the stance of boxing for its boxing as a sport. You have to have parity in sports, or you don't have enjoyment in it. I don't believe in undefeated champions. If you can go undefeated by running the gauntlet, you're a bad son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Bottom line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of these guys, they're not running gauntlets these days. They're just not. And so, yeah, there's going to be people that are partial to Wilder. There are going to be people that are partial to Fury. But that's what makes sport. A lot of people take it too far. They go into family stuff. They go into that's all irrelevant. What is relevant is when they get in the ring is who is the superior athlete at that time. The last time it was Fury, bar none. What if you thought he cheated? If you thought he put, jacks in his gloves, I don't care. The bottom line is when he went into the ring, he outboxed Deontay Wilder, which was expected. Deontay Wilder, if you've looked at most of his fights, he's losing his fights until he knocks somebody out. In most cases, that's the kind of the complexity of a slugger. When you're a slugger, most of the time you're going to be losing fights. You're not going to outbox a boxer. So a lot of people are married to this idea that Deontay Wilder is just supposed to go in there and dominate, when that's generally not the case when he's fighting a boxer. Duhaupas, I think it was, took him deep. I think it was 7, 8 rounds, 9 rounds before he 11. Caught Duhaupas. Yeah, it was 11. So, yeah, I mean, people have to realize that Deontay Wilder has a certain set of skills that are applicable in boxing, but it also comes with a risk itself. If someone's a superior boxer, they can run up the score on them. And if they're a superior boxer that's hitting them in the right places, they can drop them. So there's a risk factor on every end of the table that people seem to forget. Yeah, I love my favorite fighter because he's my skin color. I love my favorite fighter because he has straight hair. I get tired of seeing that. In chat, sometimes great boxers come in all shapes and sizes, and a lot of times great boxers come from the depth of poverty. It's not the skin color, it's the conditions that made you who you are. And so I want people to take a look at boxing moving forward as a sport of who has more motivation, who has more strength of mind to overcome and succeed. Deontay Wilder has been posed a challenge, and Deontay Wilder now has to make not only adjustments, but he has to overcome a defeat. And so Deontay Wilder has to see what wasn't working in the first fight. I listened to the interview from the PBC people, and he said he felt sluggish. He felt a certain way. Okay, if you felt that way, what are you going to do differently that's going to prevent that? I think as far as skill sets, again, I've mentioned this when I started the new channel: footwork, work rate. The ability to add a repertoire of punches instead of the 1-2 and the straight right. The dependency on the straight right was really bad in that last fight. And people refuse to see it because what they're looking for the explosive jab. I'm not the explosive jab, but the explosive punch. I like a complete fight, just like you like a complete fight, Scotty. So I think it's great that people are excited about their fighter and that they're fans, but sometimes you have to delve into why a person won and why a person lost. It's not always cheating. boxers have been cheating since the shit began. Trust me. I know the history of the sport. It's not going to change. Somebody's going to have 10-pound tennis shoe laces. Somebody's going to have 5-pound gloves. Somebody's going to find some type of way to have an advantage. Your thing is to overcome it. You know, that's either with superior skill or superior grit, one way or the other. And that's what I wanted to address on it, man. It's just those are some of the things that I keep seeing. You know, we've constantly seen these narratives that people play racially, that people play, that people invent in order to either excuse or to justify their fighter. Let's just make this sport better by supporting it. That's how I see it.
A superb summation there. The line killer couldn't say it any better, man. And, you know, to speak on your point, you know, when it comes to boxing, you know, you having boxers step in the square and they might not be all about the honesty. You know, boxing haven't been about morals and principles. We know that shit. Boxing has always been about go in there and get the win how you get it. Look good doing it and you move up the chain. But sometimes or another, you know, some fighters feel that they have to cut corners and do what they have to do. Now, Tyson Fury going in there and laying on Deontay Wilder, like I said before, it was really up to him, like Line Killer just said, to prevent it from happening over and over in recession. Stop allowing yourself to be put in the headlock. You know what I'm saying? If Tyson Fury is having the better exchanges, we'll find a way to keep your distance and still try to land that punch. But what a lot of people aren't doing, Deontay Wilder was dropped in the third round, got up, and then continued to fight on, stayed on the outside near the ropes. It wasn't an exciting performance. He couldn't generate any power because his legs was gone. But we cannot take away the fact that Tyson Fury looked superb that night in getting the job done, period. Tyson Fury went in there and he made it a grimy, nasty fight, and he won the WBC title. You know, we can nitpick and say, you know, he used dirty tactics and the gloves, but the commissioner, nobody else is investigating it. They're not doing anything. The palms to the face, all that shit. Nobody's doing anything about it. So we have to move on. We have to talk about this trilogy. We really have to focus on that. So, and on one other thing, just because you have media that support certain fighters, if you don't really look into their whole entire body of work, don't just say that's your boy, because you say that's your boy to me, I'm gonna redirect that shit and ask you what are you talking about in general to that's my boy. Because just because black media support black fighters doesn't mean that's all they support. It may mean a little bit to other media that support majority of black fighters. And there are a lot of black fighters in the sport of boxing. We can agree on that. But just because certain fighters support certain black fighters, like Deontay Wilder, doesn't mean that's all they support. That's the only fighter that they support. People want to always put that tag and label on media that you support Deontay Wilder, so that's all you support is black fighters.
Yep. And it's a detriment because they're excuse me, there are many talented fighters out there, man. And you know, when you focus solely on somebody based on how they look, you can miss real talent out there, or you can make dishonest assessments about other people. You know, the thing is, I believe in supporting black fighters, but I also believe in supporting the sport as impartially as possible. So we got to keep striving to demand better boxing, more consistent boxing, more frequent boxing. That's what I'm about. And I know that's what you're about. So that's what I want to push on, man. That's what I definitely want to push on.
So let me ask you this, Line Killer, while you're on here. What do you think needs to happen for this trilogy, for Deontay Wilder stepping in there? Because I just want to lay out like 2 or 3 steps right now. Like I even said it myself that certain fighters at this point in time that's been fighting the same way for so many years. They're not going to change, right? That was me saying that, right? And but second, we seen Tyson Fury drop Ben Davison to go in there and get Sugar Hill Stewart in return. And I'm not saying he looked overly like he was just this brand new fighter, but I'm taking it in consideration that Deontay Wilder didn't look as good, but Tyson Fury still looks sharp. So thirdly, can Deontay Wilder at this point in time in his career, he's over 30 years old, and he's been in the game for quite some time. Can he get the right people in there to come back? And if so, like he mentioned in the interview, what can they teach him to do better?
At the age of, he'll be 35 this year in October.
Yeah.
We don't know what COVID-19 is going to do. I was actually going to discuss tonight on my live stream about what it may do to the NFL, let alone boxing and every other sport. So what we're dealing with is an unknown factor of time. In that unknown factor of time, this is an opportunity. Like I said, on a prior live stream, this is an opportunity for Wilder to learn a lot of skills. He doesn't have to be perfect, and I want people to understand he doesn't have to have perfect footwork. He just has to have improved footwork. He doesn't have to have improved punches. He just has to add to more than what he's doing. At the age of 35, you can't relearn the sport of boxing. It's impossible. But you can add tools that can help you overcome, which people would define as adjustments. I see if this fight happens, it's going to be in 2021. If it does happen. He'd be 35. Fury would be 31, 32, somewhere in that area. I don't
far behind Wilder.
So the question is, to me, what is going to happen with Fury in the interim? Because if Fury, if we break it down historically in a timeline with these guys, Fury has proven to be the inconsistent fighter. Okay, and that's in the ring and outside the ring. Fury has proven to be the inconsistent fighter behaviorally, commitment-wise. Deontay Wilder hasn't shown that inconsistency. It's going to be whether Deontay Wilder still has the athletic prowess to do what he wants to do at the age of 35 versus Fury maybe being there in the first place. Fury could retire. Fury could enjoy all of this and leave the game, or Fury could fall off the wagon again. There's a bunch of different factors that are not necessarily fight related, And so if the longer this goes, I think the more perilous this fight becomes. So an early 2021 bout is where I'm seeing it if everything goes COVID-19 as expected. And if it doesn't, then it's a riskier equation. Like I said, the onus is on Deontay Wilder because he was the champ, and he has to prove that he can regain the title. Very few people have won the title multiple times against stellar competition. I don't count Anthony Joshua retaining the unified belts against Titty Boys, because I can't. Andy Ruiz was honestly nice guy, but he's a nobody. They were talking about, I was watching Fight Guys, and they were talking about Andy Ruiz and Dominic Brazil having a matchup. So I'm like, who cares? That's the type of person that Anthony Joshua lost to. So him regaining a title against somebody he should have beat, it doesn't count to me. Deontay Wilder lost arguably against his equal in boxing. Two of the best heavyweights in the division fought, and he lost to him. So that's a high stakes game right there. And so people have to see it for what it is. And again, scrap all the cheating and scrap being tired and being not feeling yourself. What's it going to take? What's it going to take to just win that next fight. That's all he has to worry about. If I kind of detoured on that.
No, good point, man. You know, you stated your side. Tay Jones, man, salute to you. Thanks for stopping in the building, man. He's actually a part of Team Bomb Squad for quite some time. Like, he known Deontay Wilder like 15 years or what have you. He say, at the end of the day, it's minor adjustments. He said when you have 30 first-round knockouts, there are things you don't use after a while. I know Perky mentioned about the jab and everything. And you see early in Deontay fights, some of the fights he was in, he used the jab more than what we see him use it this time. You know, he knocked out Dominic Brazil with what JD's considered a blind two. You know, he pulled the jab and he down the middle. Tay also said Andy Ruiz is definitely not a nobody.
And see, that's where I disagree. In comparison to the fighters that I'm talking about, he is. I'm not saying that he's not a decent skilled fighter, but when you compare him to the individuals who he is, to the individuals in the pantheon of today's heavyweight division, he is a nobody comparatively speaking. And he was picked as an also ran. You have to remember when he was picked for this fight, that fight was supposed to be against Big Baby Miller, but Big Baby Miller popped dirty. So he was a 6-week replacement. He wasn't expected to win. So those are the facts. And
one thing I can say about that, the caveat, Jarrell Miller, if you saying that Andy Ruiz is nobody, with Jarrell Miller, him fighting 300 plus pounds, would he be any better than someone like Andy Ruiz who faced Joseph Parker? He went the distance with Joseph Parker. So who has the heavier scale, Andy Ruiz or Jarrell Miller?
No, Andy Ruiz is definitely better. Is definitely a better fighter than Big Baby Miller, especially after the PED scandal. It kind of justified the work rate of a guy who's 300 pounds, you know, throwing 70, 80 punches around. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things. The point that I'm trying to make is that these guys were not heavily touted. You know, Big Baby Miller was a stool pigeon to be beat up to add a name to a resume. And so was Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz turned the tables, and he wasn't expected. And again, this is what happens when you manufacture champions, you manufacture boxers, and you don't give them real challenges. So that's how I see it. So when I compare Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder, who's had the greatest challenges? You have to go with Deontay Wilder. He's had the most difficult schedule of these guys in the last 5 years. You know, you can't say Anthony Joshua's fought anybody that was just you would think was just going to beat him. He's beat everybody but one guy. You know, and that one guy wasn't expected to win. Deontay Wilder, given his style, people were wishing that this guy would get beat, you know, but he keeps overcoming the odds. He keeps overcoming what he looks like in the ring to defeat people. So now he finally came up against a guy that's an oddity in himself with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is 6'9", has an 85, 86 inch reach. Deontay Wilder 6'7" with an 83 inch reach. Tyson Fury is a 275 pound guy. You know, what Tyson Fury didn't do in the first fight, he adjusted in the second fight. Again, the sport is a series of adjustments, period. So what Tyson Fury didn't do in the first fight, he definitely did in the second fight. He closed the distance. Deontay Wilder didn't separate himself to gain distance. This is Deontay Wilder's superpower. It's distance. It's not even the power. It's the distance. He has to be able to step into the right hand. You know, you throw the jab, but he has to step into that right hand to knock you out. And when you cut that off, you have a different fight. Tyson Fury was also leaning that mass on Deontay Wilder. And even though Deontay Wilder had gained, I think it was 231 in that fight, you're still not accustomed to 231 pounds if you've been fighting at 217, 219, 220. 10 pounds, 10, 12 pounds is 10, 12 pounds. A lot of people don't understand that because they've never fought in the ring and had to go up and down in weight. You know,
because Tyson Fury was much heavier. Because Tyson Fury was 259, right? When he fought the first fight, he came in 273. So how are they saying it benefited him to fight Wilder?
It probably
Wilder to go from 220 something to 231.
You're asking how it benefited Wilder to go from 221? I'm sorry.
No, how it benefited Tyson Fury?
Well, I look at it this way:
he was more better suited to pick up that weight.
I think the 270 was more natural than the 259. And so he may have been settled on that weight physically better. And so in that fight, he was better suited to go out there. He probably felt more flush, more powerful, more him. When it comes to Wilder, I think the heaviest Wilder fought before that 231 weight was 227, if I remember correctly. Okay. And I forgot who he fought when he was 227. I want to say it was Stavern in the second fight, but I could be wrong. The thing is, Tyson Fury was probably sitting close to his natural weight, and Deontay Wilder was sitting outside his natural weight. And so when one fighter has to carry weight that's unnatural to him, and the other fighter is settled in the weight that he naturally suits, who has the advantage? And that's what it looked like to me. Fury didn't look tired at all. He didn't look winded at all. I don't remember seeing any breaks. I had that fight on DVR, so I can go back and watch it and see.
Let me get to some of the comment. Okay. Solid point, bro. Tay said when they first announced Ruiz Joshua, I said to myself, that's not a good fight for Joshua. Why? Because Ruiz just fought a Russian, 6'5", 230. Plus pounds, and Ruiz have skills. Slow the tape down and watch it. Then he said Ruiz put him up there. Ruiz skills put him up there. A lot of people was giving Ruiz credit because he did go the distance with Joseph Parker, so they gave him credit of the last minute replacement to step in there with Joshua. Tay said if you go back and watch the other fight that Andy lost to Joseph Parker, I think he won that fight. But come slow the fight down and watch things in slow motion. Boxing is a crafty sport. Willie Lowe said, ask Holyfield how Andy Ruiz gave him problems. He just ain't got a big name, but he is definitely a problem. Joseph Parker was a big name. Joseph Parker was a WBO champ. You know what I'm saying?
He was a big name in what part of the
world? When Anthony Joshua fought him, they was like, oh, he picked up the strap and all that. So you can't elevate him and halo the name Joseph Parker. And then devalue him when he fought Andy Ruiz.
Right. And the thing with Andy Ruiz, I'm looking at the comments, says when they first announced Ruiz versus Joshua, I said to myself, that's not a good fight for Joshua. Why? Because Ruiz just fought a Russian 6'5", 230. Ruiz has skills, slow the tape down and watch. Bro, I know that Andy Ruiz has skills. I'm not taking anything away from Andy Ruiz, but there's levels to skill. And that's what I'm trying to convey here. When you apply the levels to that skill, his skill is not significant enough to be in the top tier of the heavyweight division. He's a middle tier guy at best. He got an opportunity. He was ready. The champion wasn't. And that was clear the day of the fight. And not to say that Anthony Joshua was a superior fighter. I've always thought that he was not nearly as skilled, and he had been essentially manufactured. In the second fight, he was very well improved. He moved, he jabbed, but he jabbed and moved against a much smaller guy. They list Andy Ruiz as 6 foot, what? 6 feet 1, 6'2", and he's like probably what, 5'10", 5'11", maybe 5'9", 5'10". He's a little taller than Sam Watson, bro.
Yeah, I haven't really seen him in person yet. I used to say the same thing about Andy Konoski, but Andy Konoski is a bit taller than me, man. He looked like a little chubby little
Yeah.
hot, Frank Eaton.
Yeah. But seeing some of these guys in person, I was surprised. I was bigger than what's his name, Chris Areola, and and wasn't Charles Martin wasn't that much taller than me. So it just depends on what you're seeing. But Andy Ruiz, I've kicked it with Sam Watson, and I know Sam Watson's height, and so he's a bit taller than Sam Watson. So I would say he's probably not. He's probably about 5'10", 5'11", honestly. But regardless of size, Andy had the opportunity, and the opportunity gave him what he got. When it was time to defend that belt, guess what? Andy wasn't ready for it, and that showed. And I had to give Anthony Joshua a lot more credit. He does have heart. I can give him that. He has heart.
Hell to the no.
No.
Hell to the no. I disagree with that.
Hear me out. I didn't say he has all the heart. I said he has enough heart to go back, make adjustments, and fight a different fight. He had enough heart to get back in that ring. He could have collapsed mentally like he did the first fight.
But that's true. But check this out though. Don't you think Andy Ruiz looked worse than the first fight in order for Joshua to shine? I don't think Joshua looked that much better.
Of course he did. He looked like straight trash. He looked like Bubbalicious spit on the ground. He really did. I mean, he looked like a piece of chewing gum with arms. He came, man, it looked like the instead of the great white height, it looked like the great Mexican height. It was bad. He came in there with, he was 30 pounds heavier than he was in the prior fight? He was near 300 pounds. Was it 283, 285, something like that?
Yeah, I just think, man, Anthony Joshua, he kept his distance, man. He used the outside because you got an Andy Ruiz who was obviously deconditioned for that fight. They was in Saudi Arabia, so he was wearing that particular man dress that they had over there, whatever. So people didn't really see how big Andy Ruiz was.
Yeah.
Until he took off and came to the ring. And dude was huge, slow, lethargic. Everything about him said that he was there to give up his belts. And I don't think Anthony Joshua looked that much better that night, man. I don't see him coming in there looking like he's much better than what we've seen him produce in previous fights. I ain't see it.
The problem is Andy Ruiz, when it's said and done, when you look at Joshua's career, he's going to fall into the column of the Oliver McCalls and the Hasim Rockmans of the world. Hasim Rockman was able to get the belt off of Lennox Lewis, but he couldn't defend it. People, you can call a guy a champ, but at the end of the day, a champion defends titles. A champion successfully defends. And so I'm a cut off of here so I can get on. I got to go take care of some stuff. But I'm gonna send you a link to my live stream. I'm probably do a live stream here about 8:30 to 9 o'clock my time, so an hour ahead you are. But like I said, man, as a boxing fan, let's give great boxers their due. That's my message to people. We all gonna have our favorites. We're all gonna have our biases. But at the end of the day, there's some of us out there that have our heads so far to the left or the right that we're not seeing the whole picture. And so that's what I wanted to jump on and convey that message to everybody. Let's become a fan of the sport itself and the effort it takes to get into the sport. Tay Jones says Ruiz beats 3 of the top 5. Come on, bro. No, sir. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that. So,
3 of the top 5 was crazy there. I was about to say world breaker line killer.
It's all right. It happens.
We're talking about Kubrat Pulev. We're talking about Trevor Bryan, who's ranked number 1 in WBA.
So you're just talking about the sanctioning bodies. You're not talking about overall.
Huh?
You're talking about the sanctioning bodies, not the overall picture. Because if you go top 5, you
I'm
go
naming the overall people that's kind of ranked throughout the sanctioning bodies. You got some of the same names that's ranked.
True. Well, if you go
Ain't that hot.
if you go off of the eye test and what you see, you go Fury, Wilder, Joshua. I guess you had to put what's his name? What's that cat's name? The other British cat. I can't remember the dude's name.
You have to go 3, 4, 5. He already beat freaking Joshua.
He beat Joshua. Joshua, but what I'm saying is, what's that cat's name? I can't think of his name right now.
So the only other ones that consistent is you put Luis Ortiz up there. He's top 5.
Right.
Luis Ortiz is top 5.
Yep.
Then you got Kubrat Pulev and shit like that. Alexander Usyk.
No, it's that other guy, man. The black cat, man.
Daniel DeBoy.
No.
Trevor Bryan.
No, the one that's always saying he wants to fight Wilder but never does.
Dillian White.
Dillian White. Whether you like Dillian White or not, you got to put him around there. And I don't think Ruiz beats a Dillian White. I think it'd be a good fight.
I like to see. Not the way Ruiz looked last fight. Shit.
No, not at all. He doesn't have a chance.
Hell no.
Sucks, man. Well, Scotty, I'm gonna jump off of here, man. I'm glad I could get on here for a little bit. I'm gonna go take care of some business, and I'll send you a link here in a little while, man.
All right, for sure, man. Salute to you, man. Thanks for dropping in the cut, man. Real
all
talk.
right, bro, man. Keep it popping. All right, bye.
That was Line Killer, man. Be sure to check him out. He's gonna do a live screen. He talk, life is not just a boxing channel or what have you. But appreciate y'all who was dropping comments. Tay said that Andy Ruiz still hurt Joshua whenever he did connect. Let's not act like he didn't say it. Because most people don't know protocol for their drug testing over there. When they announced the fight, I said Andy should fight that fight. We never seen Joshua move like that before. He might have got that freaking therapy, that therapy that they get over there, that therapy exemption that they're able to get over there. Ruiz crushes him. That'd be a good fight between Andy Ruiz and Dillian White. Dillian White sometimes throw the game plan out the window, but I would say this, what Dillian White might have some success is that Anthony Joshua, of all people, was able to drop him early in their fight. So that's what Dillian White may have some success. If he catches Andy Ruiz early and Andy is not boxing and keeping his distance against a slugger like Dillian White, he may find himself on the canvas, man. But, who knows, man? Yeah, that's what I thought. Shouldn't fight that fight. Yeah. And a lot of people, when it comes to Anthony Joshua being a clean fighter, those of you that seen him at 254 and refused to acknowledge that man wasn't, man, Anthony Joshua, it's no way that he was clean when he was all bulked up and shit like that. That's why when they start talking about Anthony Joshua coming over to the States to fight, because the pond was drying up, the monetary pond over there, he had to cross over and take this fight. He started losing weight. Totally different physique than he had when he fought Carlos Takam. They had agreed at like 235. He came in there and fought Carlos Takam at like 254. Sorry about that. Had to goddamn step out for a minute. Hey Tay, all I have to do is drop you the link, bro. I can just drop you the link. I can just drop you the link, and you don't have to. If you don't want to be on camera, you can come into the studio, right? And just click on the link. You don't have to be on camera then. You just want to talk. It'll be just like calling in. Let me I'll drop it in your Facebook Messenger, man. Y'all give me a minute. Those of you who's tuned in, Perky, man, appreciate staying on board, man, staying in the hunt with those comments. Willie Lowe, Lion Killer, Mississippi King, Life Love, Denise Wards, Patrick Williams, Don Dada. Thanks for, that wrench, goddamn having that weaponry, being my lookout, my LP, OP. Appreciate it. I'm looking you up right now, man. I'm trying to find out where your name at. Oh, there you go. I'm about to drop the link in there right now, man. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, Tay Jones, he's a fighter down here in the ATL, man. He's been part of the Team Bomb Squad forever and a day, man. He's known the champ for the longest of time. So he pretty much knows a lot that goes on inside the camp. Everything that's happening. The shit that was popping off with Joshua at the time. I get a lot of my information from Tay. So let me see if he's gonna pop on here and give you a little bit more insight as to Deontay Wilder. The champ say he's out there chilling in Alabama on an island. I was about to say Dana White looking for an island. He can go over there and goddamn, pay the fine, pay the toll across the bridge and goddamn have it over there and shit, man. There's no way Dana White go to Alabama and have that shit, man. I'm just being a little bit sarcastic, Dana's looking for an island to throw UFC 249. So I'll drop you the link, man. But yeah, man, it's always going to be two sides, three sides to when it comes to Deontay Wilder until he's out of the sport. It's always going to be that type of narrative. People are going to have their opinion. For some reason, he's a fighter they love, they hate. And, man, I'm going to tell you, he go back in here and face Tyson Fury and get his belt back. There's going to be a lot of haters, man. There's going to be, signing up for therapy and shit. They're going to be spending their whole stimulus check trying to goddamn get counseling because they ain't going to like that. And the one of the more solid parts of this whole ordeal heading into the trilogy is that it's an exciting fight. This ain't just like Canelo and Triple G. Like, we definitely know that Canelo will go in there and spank Triple G in the trilogy. We know that. But we truly know that this third fight between Fury and Wilder is going to be a very competitive matchup. It's going to be very competitive. And then the suspense part of it is that Wilder is going back in there to take back a title that he held for over 5 years. You know what I'm saying? It's all the ingredients that you will look for in an epic freaking fight in the heavyweight division. And believe me, people are going to show up again like they showed up for the rematch. And that's what we want to see. But y'all also have to understand the ones that was on here that's so critical. You have to understand that in the interview, Deontay Wilder really didn't give excuses like that. He wasn't up here just giving excuses to anything in life. You didn't hear shit about the damn uniform being heavy. He said something about anybody who saw me take off the mask, can look at me and say, that wasn't me. If you take a look at all that shit, the man is trying to sit up here and fight the top competition, but yet he's criticized for doing it. So basically, if he stays active during a year and he has a quick turnover to come back in here following that Luis Ortiz fight, to step back in there with Tyson Fury and he loses, he get criticized for being active. But if he wouldn't have fought but once a year, or reversing the roles, if Deontay Wilder wouldn't have taken an immediate rematch against Fury, he would have still got criticized. Or put Deontay Wilder in a position to face a Sefa Safari, Francisco Pianetta, Tom Schwartz, and Otto Wallen. Put that lineup on Deontay Wilder's record, and it's no way that he can get in front of nobody, ESPN, any of them boxing, and say, hey, let's talk about these last 4 opponents, you know, outside of the draw that you had with Tyson Fury. Why did you go there and fight, you know, people, you know, fighters like Sefa Safari and Pianetta? Those guys are not even on your level. Why would you do that? Why would you face a Tom Schwartz? Why would you face a Otto Wallen? Why in the hell would you go over to World Wrestling Entertainment and play around in there? Even though Floyd Mayweather did it, even though there's other boxers who went over there, but Deontay Wilder, they would say, why are you not focused on boxing? Why would you go over there to wrestling? If Tyson Fury would have came back from wrestling and lost, people would have said, well, he went over there to wrestling, and plus he had a tough fight against Otto Wallen. But Deontay Wilder would have went over to wrestling and came back over here and lost. They say, well, you want to focus on boxing. You never should have went over there and tried to jump off the top rope. You a boxer. You never should have did it. So it's like a no-win situation, man. Bottom line, all 3 of these guys got to fight each other. Joshua Wilder, Fury. I can agree with them having to fight one another. Will they fight one another is the key. Is the key. Will Fury ever face Joshua, and will Deontay Wilder ever face Joshua? I think in reality, the powers that be over in the UK could definitely make Fury Joshua outside of the circumstances that they're currently in. Okay. Outside of the circumstances, they could definitely, but due to that ink, contractually, what people were saying, that shit don't matter. The contract don't fucking matter. They can, if contracts don't matter, why sign them? It obviously matter because Tyson Fury was on BT Sports, and the guy said, well, you plan on just fighting Joshua? He said, no, I have a contractual obligation to face Deontay Wilder. He said it himself. If the contract didn't matter, then Tyson Fury would have said, yeah, I'm just deciding I'm going to go over there and face Anthony Joshua. It's not that easy. He just can't say, I'm going to break the contract and I'm going to go over here and face Joshua for the undisputed. It's not going to happen. How you champ for 5 years and don't fight the other champ? It depends on who's there, man. And that's it. And you know what, Perky? I have to say that's a solid question. That's a legitimate question. How you're champ for 5 years and don't fight other champs? But look at who held the belts, man. Look at who held the belts. Just look at your question and look at the pages you haven't read yet to answer your question. If it was no way for him to really fight and get the titles when he initially won his belt, and then seeing Joshua come up and fast track, picking up the WBA, paying out Charles Martin, who in my opinion, a lot of people say he dove, going up there with the WBO with Joseph Parker. I mean, it was a fast track, man. It was all the right places. Now, I can't tell you what was going on with his team, Deontay, on why he didn't fight or whatever. But when the belts are in the hands of somebody who don't want to fight you, you can't say Deontay didn't want to fight. He wasn't trying to fight Anthony Joshua. If you want to say 5 years, let's go back to 2018. Team Wilder was actually trying to fight Anthony Joshua. They was trying to unify the titles. And, you know, when one offer came up, 12 million flat, okay. And then something else came up. I mean, listen to the interviews. Deontay Wilder said it himself. 15 million came up. flat fee, then they would make it difficult and come up with something else. And then when the 50 million did it and they didn't want it, they said, fuck it. We ain't dealing with him no more. We ain't dealing with them Eddie Hearns and Anthony Joshua. We done with them. We took 3-4 months out of our time to fuck around and do negotiations. They didn't want to make the fight happen. So we moving on to other things. So you got the Luis Ortiz, you got the Dominic Brazil. If he would have fought Dillian White and knocked him out, I don't think too many people would have actually gave him credit for that. What's going on, Tay? How you feel, man? Welcome everybody in the chat, man. This is Tay Jones, man. Fighter down here in the ATL. How you feel today, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. Just got done working out. What's going on?
Chilling, man. Doing this COVID-19, man. How you and your girl been holding up? Congrats on the engagement and everything.
Man, I appreciate that, man. We holding up, man. Just staying inside the house like they asked us to. But anybody who know me or any of my brothers of the Bronx Squad, this is what we do. We homebodies anyway, so we all enjoy staying at home. And they say for the ones who want to get out, it's urgent that they be out in the public, and people want to get out. That means they don't have any peace at home, and I definitely do have that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I want to ask your opinion on the interview, man. What did you take from the champ finally talking to his fans and supporters with his interview on PBC today?
I mean, it just showed a lot of grit. It just showed where his mind at, man. For people who didn't know what they were saying or talking about, what I'm saying? He just solidified a lot of stuff. Like I said before in different interviews that I've done before, like, they bring up the whole costume thing. Where on wax did anybody see that at? Where on wax that you can say, hey, this man said that he did an interview. So all those words was just he say, she say. Don't nobody know if it was said or not. So, you know what I mean? But he came out on wax today and said what he said. He mean everything that he say. So at the end of the day, man, I just, you can't, people can't ridicule a person off facts that they don't know. But we do know that he spoke today. And that was the first time he spoke since the fight.
Yeah, he was Deontay was spoon feeding the public, man. And due to all the criticism, man, that he was taking, do you believe that's why he's not willing to just go in detail? Because he knows that his naysayers and his critics are going to continue to criticize him anyway, no matter what he has to say.
I mean, me knowing my brother, man, he gonna speak. That's one thing he gonna do. He never ran from nothing or nobody, so he never will. He gonna speak when the time is right.
Yeah.
I probably believe that it probably wasn't the right platform for him to speak on a lot of things about. And in certain platforms that bashed him or did some things behind the scene that he don't like, you know what I'm saying, or he may not agree with. So he's not gonna, give people what they're looking for on certain platforms. But he will speak. That I do know.
Yeah, that was funny, man. The people talk about the costume and everything, but the champ only mentioned taking off the mask, and he just basically said, when I took off the mask, people could see that I wasn't me. That's the only thing he said. He didn't say nothing about the weight or nothing. So, why you think they ran with the weight of the costume when he was having a sidebar conversation?
I mean, me personally, I don't know why they ran with that. It could have been different. What's the word I'm looking for? Different media spectrums that probably had said something of that nature. But, like I said before, where on wax or where is it written that he said that out his mouth? What person said that they interviewed him and it came out his mouth? Nobody can debate me on that because it's not written anywhere, nor did anybody say that. You know what I mean? So it's just like now you can take stuff and put it in the perspective of how that's easy for me. That's easy for me to say, okay, well, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put my word to it. All we know, it can be a test to that. Nobody knows. But where on wax was that? Who interviewed him and said that? It's nowhere. So like I said before, he spoke and he spoke the truth. He spoke what he said. And one thing about my brother, man, he mean what he say.
Yeah, man. I was surprised at how quiet the whole bicep situation was, man. It was impressive. I was just standing back looking. I was like, damn, no one's talking about the surgery. No one's talking about the bicep. Even Deontay didn't come out and talk about no darn bicep. He just went in there and did what he had to do. And he could have just as well in the post interview said, hey, you know what? I hurt my bicep. But we heard him talk about it today, man. Hey,
yeah, and it's been what a month, almost a month. It's been a month and a half. Next week will be next week, a week and a half will be 2 months. You know what I mean? So for him to say that, you know what I mean, that just lets you know that he's a warrior. He's a king. He kings amongst kings. You know what I mean? But how many, you know? But you get fighters where I had an injury coming into this, and the third. He never said any of that. You know what I mean? Just like with the Chris Arreola fight, he had an injury. You know what I mean? But he still fought. So it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But what fighter do you know that actually comes into the fight 100%? I
And
think the only time that from my understanding, from what I think the only time that D really came into a fight healthy was the Brazil fight.
was lasted 2 minutes and 78 seconds.
Right,
He was
right.
crushing. But what I can say, my brother, I gotta salute you on being consistent, because what you said, what you told me after the fight, man, that shit was spot on, man. I didn't say anything about it, but the champ finally came out and spoke on it. And you know, you have to give it up to Deontay Wilder for not coming here whining after the post fight and giving people fuel to criticize him even more. You know, because that shit that he said about the biceps, man, that's been out for a long time, like over a month now. But it just
Right.
haven't been in the media, man.
Right.
So
It's just not in the media, you know what I mean? And for the people who know, they know. You know what I mean? And
that's true.
you know, but everybody don't need to know everything. You know what I mean? But I said back, and I think I finally had spoke maybe like 3 weeks ago on another channel, you know, just out of anger. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing something that this man loved to do, you know, being bashed by his own people, being bashed by certain media outlets, being bashed by, you know, some of the front runner media, or I guess you would say old media. You know what I mean? So I watched it for so long, and I couldn't take anymore, because at the end of the day, you know, what have this man done to be treated like that? You know what I mean? But if you go back and look at it, every fight, every time he has said that this is what I'm going to do, he has done it. You know what I mean? Only thing he hasn't said, hasn't completed, was the Tyson Fury, and that was just the last fight. But you know, like he said, you can obviously tell that something was wrong with him. I mean, the commentator said it, the public saying it, but yet the public and some of the media, I'm not gonna say uh, um, which media outlets, because they don't deserve for me to speak on them. But at the same time, they even said it themselves. He didn't look the same. You know what I mean? But he didn't tell no lie when he said that he didn't. You know what I mean? I even told him he didn't look like, bro, that's not you. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, and then it baffled me. But you know, now that he came out, because I was wondering why my phone went out. I started going off today. A lot of people started hitting me up. Me and Mustafa was in the gym earlier. Then my phone, all of a sudden, I walked back to my phone. I had 17 messages. I'm like, damn, what's going on? And people asking me about the interview. I'm like, what the fuck is they talking about? But the crazy part about it, I knew that he did an interview, but I just didn't know that PBC put it out today.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
I got you. I want to ask you this, man. How do you rate Kenny Bayless' performance in having control of that fight, man?
Man, you know, referees gonna do their job. I've seen numerous of times where he has done excellent job. I've seen times where he wasn't so great, and then I definitely seen a Wilder fight where it's just basically simple. It just looked out of character of him for this past fight to me. I mean, because you kept giving this guy one, and then you finally take a point. But it was just certain things that, you know, normally Kenny Bayless is on top of.
Yeah.
So it was just out of curiosity to me. It was just like, damn, what Bayless doing? But at the same time, and you know, like I said, I actually sit right behind the trainer, so I'm actually, you know, ducking, dodging, looking at, you know, actually paying attention to the fight. So as I go back and look on TV, I'm like, damn, Kenny didn't see that, or damn, he didn't see
Yeah.
that. So it's like, damn, hold on. But man, but like I said on another channel, the whole, like, even from when we walked out, it just felt weird, bro. Like, it felt weird. I can't explain it. It just felt weird. You know, even my team said, I think and I think Willie might be listening. You know what I'm saying? Willie on the team too, so he know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, Willie Lowe, I see you.
Yeah, you know, he actually one of the trainers in the boxing gym down there.
Okay, for sure. Didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
what's up. That's good to know.
yeah.
Hey, another
But it's,
thing.
you know, but it's just crazy, man. Like you know, I actually just, you know, actually came on here to, dispute some of the things that old boy said. Some of the things I see where he coming from, but some of the things like, man, you got to, and Scotty, man, if you know Coach Mustafa, every time you look at his Instagram page, Facebook page, he's talking boxing. You know what I mean? He's breaking it down, giving you point this and point that. But like I said in my comments, when they made the fight between Joshua and Ruiz, even I said, matter of fact, that was right before I fought the fight before you came to my. He fought a week before you came to my fight, about almost a year ago now. So when that fight had happened, I said, damn, that ain't gonna be a good fight for Joshua. I said that off the top of my head. Why? Because we sat there and broke down Andy Ruiz's fight. Why did we break it down? Because if you know, one of Mustafa heavyweights is about the size of Andy Ruiz. I'm talking about specifically about Matt Truck. And they about the same size, same weight, same height. So at the same time, I'm looking at them breaking it down, and I'm like, damn, Andy Ruiz got skill. Joshua skills nowhere near Andy Ruiz. Period. You just got, like I said, that's why I said you got to slow that thing down and watch it, see what's actually happening. Man, that boy got skills, and that's why I said he beat at least 3 of the top 5 heavyweights. Period. And I would go back and look at the Joseph Parker fight. I actually thought he beat him. You know what I mean? And I ain't just talking out the side of my neck. I'm talking because boxing is a crafty sport. And that man is definitely very crafty. Now, could he have came in better shape in the Joshua fight? Of course. But I think that him being a new champion, first Mexican heavyweight champion, all that got to his head. He had to humble himself. But it happened to all the greats. So he ain't got nothing to hang his head about. He just come back out and do what he got to do.
Andy Ruiz looked so damn on point, man, when he went in there and won the championships. Why would his team allow him to get unfocused heading into the rematch without me, I'm gonna say me, believing that he took a payout and just made it look like he was deconditioned, out of shape, to make it look more realistic?
Now, if you ask me, I don't know why his team would allow that. But if you ask me, I just felt like, anytime you come up in life and you never had something before, automatically you get people who ain't never really been around, and you get adapted to a new lifestyle. And once you get adapted to that new lifestyle, sometimes it's hard to turn back and say, damn, I got to go back and humble myself to get this right, to go get that right, or I want to get better and this and third. But how as fight fans can we say how that man felt? You know what I mean? This man never had anything. You know what I mean? I seen it, not from a boxing aspect, but my brother played professional football, so I know that man was in trouble every damn week. You know what I mean? And I seen his world crumble before him. You know what I mean? So it don't just happen in boxing; it happen in other sports too. When you never had a certain amount of money and you finally get to the top of the pinnacle, people come around, things changes, your lifestyle change, your habits change. So it happens. The only thing he can do is go back and correct it. Now, should he have a better team around him? We all can say he should have a better team. But how you know that his team wasn't, hey, Andy, you need to go do this. Or, hey, Andy, let's do this. Hey, Andy, go do this. But he probably got complacent by the new lifestyle. We don't know.
Well, Manny Robles was let go. So from what I hear, Andy Ruiz's father called in, said, Manny Robles, your service is no longer needed. So we look forward to seeing, Andy Ruiz come back in there, whoever that fight is. It'll be good to see Andy Ruiz, Dillian White, Luis Ortiz is still out there, some of those top names. But
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest, it would have been good to see Andy Ruiz defeat Joshua again, and him stepping there with, Deontay Wilder for unification or something like that. It would have been a good fight.
Actually, I thought that was going to manifest for me as well. It obviously was a setback, because we know, dealing with Joshua, and I don't want to talk too deep on that, but we know that dealing with Joshua is a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? And I seen a subscriber or somebody's in your Patreon earlier saying that how do you be a champ for 5 years and never fight a champion? Well,
Yeah.
At the same time, but let's not forget. One reason why I said that you can't watch one fighter at a certain time of their career when he's on the uprise and from the beginning. Well, if you know anything about boxing, we all know that when Deontay beat who was it? Bermain Stavern the first time. Actually, it was Bermain Stavern was a champion. Deontay was number 1. Joshua was number 2 in the WBC. Joshua pulled out the WBC to go pick up other belts. Do I blame him? Hell no, because I want some belts too. But that's one way we can see what really happened. He pulled away because he did not want to fight Deontay once Deontay captured the belt. Deontay Ben said that he wanted to fight. I also have receipts where Eddie Hearn blocked me on Twitter for going back and forth out of how many people? I think he got like 500, 400,000 followers on Twitter. And out of all of those followers, guess who he chose to go back and forth with? He chose to go back and forth with me. So that lets you know something right there. And the facts that I was speaking, we went back and forth maybe like 5 or 6 times. So the fact that I was speaking those facts, he knew exactly I knew what the hell I was talking about. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to put that in perspective. So when he goes and fight, Vladimir, who was it? Vitaly or Vladimir? That was
Vladimir.
Okay, Vladimir. He was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder. You know what Vladimir go do? He goes and fight Joshua. Why? Because he felt like that was an easier fight.
And Deontay was at that fight.
And Deontay was at that fight. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, at that same fight, Deontay and Eddie Hearn exchanged words. You see what I'm saying? And Eddie Hearn promised Deontay a fight with Joshua. You see what I'm saying? So we can go back and forth about this all day long. But people who don't know, they're gonna argue. Well, he been champion for this how many long? You can't, man. Listen. You can run all you want to. Same thing for Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker actually came to the fight in Alabama. I think it was either the Molina fight or the Chris Arreola fight. It was one of them fights. He actually came to Alabama. They was supposed to fight, but guess who Joseph Parker go fight? The man over across the pond, Charles Martin. We wanted Charles Martin. Guess who Charles Martin go fight? He sold his soul for a couple $1 million, $2-3 million. Come on, man, But see, people ain't gonna talk about that. They're gonna say, well, he ain't fight Joshua. Well, I'm spitting facts though, because I know.
Yeah, I appreciate that breakdown, man. I have to say those receipts, I know from when you was talking about it, man. You know, for those of you that's tuned in, he ain't just creating the narrative on the fly, but I hear you, man. You know, I still look back at the time where you said you was speaking to Anthony Joshua, you know, on live that day.
FaceTime. Yeah, I talked because, you know, we got somebody in our camp. They from overseas, and you know, he actually a part of our team, but he's been, you know, down with Deontay, but in the middle of his career, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, my thing is this: if Joshua know that we got somebody in our camp, he's like, damn, he hanging out with Wilder. I need to hang out with him too. So that's how they got their chemistry over there in the UK, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with being friends. That's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? But I actually got a chance to talk to Joshua on FaceTime. I got receipts. I posted it on Instagram. When me and Joshua on FaceTime, I specifically asked that man. I said, hey man, stop running. Let's make this fight happen. You know what this man tell me? Man, I got to focus on my fight tomorrow night. You know, I'm fighting Andy Ruiz. Bitch, I know who you fighting. I didn't ask you that. I said, let's make this fight happen. That's what I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it ain't, man, come on, man. It's crazy. But, you know, not the media, but the public who wants to so-called, quote unquote, know every little thing about boxing be so wrong, and they manipulate people. And that really irks me, because at the end of the day, they don't get in the ring and sacrifice their life. You know what I mean? They don't get in the ring and sacrifice their life. They don't go out every day and run the miles. They don't go out every day, have to get in the gym and sweat, burn, and go through vigorous workouts. They don't do that. But only thing they can do is sit on, you know, media, social media, and manipulate all day long. And that baffles me. You know, that definitely baffled me. But my thing is, you know, if you don't have an inside source, or if you don't have too much, you know, you think you know what's going on, it's best for you just to be, you know, just don't say none at all. Because 9 times out of 10, you're probably wrong if you don't have an inside source.
I appreciate that. I can actually verify what you're saying, man. You did everything you just mentioned, man. You were sitting up here talking. Initially, when you told me, and then you sent me the screenshot and everything. Yeah, he was actually talking. You know, he was actually talking to that camp over there and everything. You know,
You know what I mean?
on Twitter.
Man, I mean, where was I? Matter of fact, me and my fiance, we was out eating. I didn't even expect to get a call. I didn't even expect to get a call, but you know, my boy Nas called me, and I was like, damn. He was like, okay. Then he turned the phone. You know, I heard somebody say, "What's up, Tay?" And the reason why he said, "What's up, Tay?" because Joshua know that me and Joshua right hand man, we got beef with each other.
Okay.
You know, me and Joshua right hand man, we got beef with each other for some stuff that had happened on Instagram. But Nas being the mediator, you know what I mean? Nas being a mediator, he was just trying to, hey, look, everything cool. We passed that, we beyond that. You know what I mean? It's just boxing, which I get. But people who know me, they know about people I love. Shit. Man, listen, I don't play about nobody I love.
I got you there, Golden Warrior. Appreciate all the info, man. You know, if the champ goes back in here, we don't know the fight's gonna be in October now. We don't know what's going on with this COVID, man. You go ahead and get this title back. Do you actually believe that at that point in time, you know, having communication over there, do you even think Joshua even come close to fighting Deontay Wilder? Or he would just basically try to, you know, allow his belts to be taken, not facing the mandatory and fragment the belts?
Man, only thing I can really speak on that is when D get D belt, when he get this belt, Joshua gonna be one of the shitting bricks. He gonna go to shitting brick quick. He gonna go to shitting bricks quick.
That'd be a damn good fight to make, man. He would be forced to, you know, just man up and you know, come back and finally sign that fight. It ain't no more flat fee. It ain't no 12 million, 15 million, and all this other shit.
Nah,
you know?
because when you know they the thing they gonna, but you know it really bad for me that you got people in the media saying that, you know, saying they trying to get Deontay step aside money. Man, listen, I don't know where that came from, where that narrative came from. If like D said, you know me, you know that's not a part of me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I honestly don't know where they got a lot of this stuff from, though. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's people, you know, the guys in certain groups over here. I'm not gonna give them no shine though. Certain groups on Facebook that start creating these narratives saying that they trying to buy out Tyson Fury's contract so he can face Anthony Joshua instead of Deontay Wilder. You know, they coming up with all this shit.
But let's make it make sense. We're talking about the same man that just gave away his license in the UK because of some fucking board meat, though.
Correct.
Come on, so where they gonna fight at? The Saudi Arabia? Come on, man. Like, why would you want to make that? Why, like, think about it theoretically. Why would you want to make that fight happen? And if this man, it's not even in the UK no more, so it's not even gonna be as big as it could have been. Why?
Yeah.
Because this man know he cheated, and this man he got out of it. That was a scapegoat, pretty much saying, I'm gonna just get my license up, so y'all don't fuck with me. That's basically what that was.
But can he just reapply though, Tay? Can he just reapply?
Hell no, he can't reapply.
Oh, okay. I thought when Jarrell Miller, when he popped, he didn't have his boxing license, so that's why his suspension wasn't as extensive as it was with Jarrell Miller.
They reopened that case back up. They reopened that case. That's why he got rid of his license.
Oh, okay. I got you. So he didn't want to be active. Okay, to take that punishment. I got you.
Yeah, that's a 8-year ban.
I got you. Come and good because they chose. Oh, okay. Damn. Okay, that's good info to know because I remember Jarrell Miller, man. He didn't have his license when he popped for all three of his substances, so that's why he didn't get a real harsh suspension. You know what I'm saying? But now I understand it makes sense. You know, the uncastrated boar, them opening up the damn case. I wonder if Mr. Caretaker gonna have any type of traction on that over there in the UK. You know,
Mr. Whatever his caretaker, whatever name is, he disconnected his line. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
right?
If you try to call the forum, you can't even get in touch with the forum. You know what I mean? So, you know, he avoiding them at all costs. You know, and he done already got threatened messages. So, you know,
Damn.
I don't want to go too deep with that, but yeah, everybody know, man. Come on, everybody know what's going on.
That's what's up, man. How the champ been doing, man? I know he got on here and talking about he was chilling on the island and everything, spending family time. I know you probably had a time to link up with him, man. How's the recovery process going? He mentioned something about getting back in training next month.
Man, you deep fine to me. D body healed really fast. You know what I mean? He has a one of a kind body. You know, he actually doing good. We talked. What was that Sunday? We talked Sunday for about an hour. Then we a little short call on Monday morning, very very brief. But he joint man. Yeah, when you got a house that's in the middle of nowhere on Neverland. You know what I mean? It's good life, baby. You know what I mean? You got your lake, got your big pool. You know what I mean? You living. You know what I mean? You designing different things that's that's gonna be on the land coming soon. You know what I mean? So be good. When I talked to him, he was flying this new little drone. You know what I mean? Did good, man. Like,
It
man, come
seemed
on,
like he was in the river water rafting when he was on the interview. You can hear water in the background and shit, man.
shit, he probably was on the boat. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
He probably was on this boat. But like I say, man, like D said, man, just because he took a loss in the ring, if you look up at the scoreboard 100 to 0. Because at the end of the day, so get what? He ain't supposed to be there. You know what I mean? If you look up at the scoreboard, he ain't supposed to be there. He got into boxing for one thing, one thing only. That was take care of his daughter. God gave him, granted him more than what he, envisioned for. You know what I mean? Everything that he, like you say, meditate. Everything that he meditated came to manifestation. It came to him. You know what I'm saying? That's why he used the word speak, believe, and receive it. And he's still winning. So, just because you take a loss in life don't mean that it stops because you take a loss. No, it might stop for some people, but guess what? Some people wanted the champ to hear that because guess what? The words that he speaks, some people say, man, champ be speaking that thing, man. He made me want to go harder. You know what I mean? So he good, man. Our whole team winning. Cause like at the end of the day, guess what? We weren't supposed to be here, especially when you're a kid from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. Y'all done came a long ways, man. And unfortunately, his success, people probably won't admire it and give you the value that it's supposed to have until he's out the sport. But from what he's did, man, when they look back on it, what they was criticizing him for, they're gonna kind of take it into consideration how special it actually was for him to say, well, he don't have that amount of boxing skills, but he was able to reign for 5+ years, and then he was able to go in there for his 11th defense with the skill set he had. And then you look back at his previous fights leading up to Tyson Fury, he didn't fight every fight the same way. He didn't fight Arthur Spilker the same way he fought Jared Washington. He didn't fight, Jared Washington the same way he fought Bermane Stavern. He didn't fight Bermane Stavern the same way he did when he rematched him. Nah. That's the person that went the distance with him.
But it's funny you say that because if you go look at Deontay earlier part of his career when he first was coming out of the Olympics, the boy boxing his asshole.
Yeah, he was running jab and everything. Yeah,
exactly. But the thing about it is when you have 30 first round plus knockouts, like it's hard to contain to say, well, he got to learn how to box. He got to do this. But damn, it's hard to get to Olympics if you ain't boxing. You got to throw a lot of fucking punches. The scoring is definitely different. You got to throw a lot of punches, man. But it's, like I say, everybody, he just depend on his power. But guess what, though? Where were you at the first beginning stages of the career? Because from my understanding, if you're talking about one punch knockout power, you talking about maybe, when the fight that started with Spilker. You know what I mean? Because even when he fought Bermane Stavern the first time, they questioned, can it go 12 rounds? He outboxed the shit out of Bermane Stavern. But they're going to say, oh, he was a nobody. But shit, I've never known a champion to be a nobody. I never have.
And then he knocked Spilker off the back foot, though. Wasn't he going backwards, when
he was going backwards. He was going backwards, and Spilker had an ugly swing that he was looking for, and he calculated that shit and hit him on the jaw. And that shit, I don't even think he walked for like a couple weeks.
Which excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Which fight was the one where he broke his hand and had to jab? A lot.
Chris Arreola.
Okay. That's a fight that I've pointed out where that's the Wilder I want to see. that jab is vicious, and I think it sets up a lot of devastation a lot easier. And so I look the fact that he had to employ that jab was tremendous to me, and to me it showed another level. And that when I talk about adjustments, that was the major key. That jab, because that jab is a top jab when it's employed. It's a top jab in the sport, not just in the division, in the sport.
Right.
And I came back on because I was getting my son ready for bed, and I heard you speak on some of the points that I made. Some you thought were good, some you didn't agree with. I wanted to know what you didn't agree with.
Oh yeah, I talked about. Well, let me go back to that Chris Arreola fight. Like I was just saying, yeah, of course, there's a lot of people who want to see that fight. But one thing I do know, and I can share this. D said, that loss, he needed that loss to get the hunger back. Told me that personally, and then pretty much every time we speak, he says the same thing. So I know that hunger is there. You can't get complacent when you're at the top for so long. Yes, he's blessed with, God-given power. We're not gonna see another heavyweight like that. They say athletes come around like that every decade. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we're in a decade where 5+ years we've been seeing the same thing. But it's hard as a fighter, because I know if I know that I got a special talent, and like you said, you got to be perfect for 12 rounds. Shit, it's 5 seconds. I'm out of there. You know what I mean? But when you got 31st plus first round knockouts, it's hard to keep that what's that word? That I guess that skill set that you're talking about.
Gotcha.
But will he gain it back? Of course he'll gain it back. But this loss just gonna make him regain it. That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for us, the what I didn't agree with, I'm talking about Andy. Like I look at film, and Scotty will tell you, my coach, he's second to none. You know what I mean? If you want to follow him on his Instagram, shit, he got like 200, 300,000 followers. Not saying that make him a good coach, but because he take time to actually look at fights and show me how fighters are adjusting to this, or how fighters are adjusting to this. You can't do that without skill. You go back and look at the fight when Ruiz fought the Russian, and I just said that to Scotty. Man, it was marvelous. So when I said that, I didn't agree with that, because Andy Ruiz's skill set puts him at the top of the heavyweight class. Now, I'm not saying that he's a top 3 heavyweight. Probably top 5. Yes, I can say. I think he does beat Dillian White. I think he does beat Dominic Brazil, because there's something that you don't know that I know that Dominic Brazil can't do. And what I mean, what people don't know is, but me watching film on Dominic Brazil, anytime you go to his right-hand side, for some odd reason, if you look at film, he never can get a punch off if a person going to his right-hand side. But whenever he looked to the left, his vision, for whatever it is, I'm not sure if he got cataract or if he's blurry in that eye or whatever, but he can't see from that corner. What I'm saying is, I know how Andy fight and the skill set that he has. He can definitely get Brazil out the way. So scratch Brazil. Who else? We talk about Joseph Parker. I already think that he beat Joseph Parker the first time.
I agree that he beat Joseph Parker too. And to just clarify, it's not that I didn't think that Andy Ruiz didn't have the skill. I know his amateur background. I know his pro pedigree. It's the commitment at the time. I'm talking about from the first fight with Joshua to the second fight. Now, whatever happened in between that, there was a drop off in commitment,
and that's totally on him.
Right. And so I didn't get to emphasize that. So that's why I wanted to just clarify that when it came to it. It's not that he doesn't have top 5 skill. I was talking about in the current, based on what I saw last.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. It was just, I was just listening. I just came in from getting my miles in. I'm like, huh? I'm like, no, Andy up there.
I ain't did them miles in years, boy. 20.
Yeah, he definitely up there though. And like I said, I just critique a lot of film. I watch a lot of film, and I break it down. If I have something that I'm not something that I'm uncertain about, I can always call my coach no matter the time, and he'll explain it to me. You know what I mean? And that's one reason why I'm in love with boxing. I just don't love it. I'm in love. Like, you know what I'm saying? like the Beyonce, dangerously in love. You know what I mean? Because it's a crafty sport, and this is something that you have to know what is going on, the details of the fight, how a person being set up, how he's countering, how is this person skill set is gonna match this skill set, what can he do to defend this puncher, just different things. And that's what I'm in love with the most. And things that I've seen Andy do, man, it's shit. He right up there with Luis Ortiz for a skill set.
Yeah. And probably the only thing that's taken away is maybe his size at that division. That's the only thing you could take away on a physical aspect. I've seen the skills. I've seen him employ it on multiple occasions. So, yeah, definitely what I was saying was based on recent history and not the totality of his resume.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we like I said, we can all agree that, you know, of course, his last outing, you know what I mean, I was upset, you know what I mean, because I seen what he can do. But you know, it's crazy, man. But like I was telling Scotty, but you know, you a kid that never had anything, you know what I mean, you can get him $1 million and he'll go crazy. And like I said before, my brother played NFL ball, and shit, when he got his first couple mil, within his first 3 years, shit, his third year, he was suspended from the league. So I know, you know what I mean? So I know what happens when you get something that you never had before, and all of a sudden you got it and you don't know how to act. And it could have been to where, you know, they fired Manny Robles, but we don't know if Manny Robles are trying to get that man to come to the gym. You know what I mean? So that falls on Andy. If anybody, that falls on Andy. It shouldn't take Manny Robles to cuss him out and tell him to get in the gym, or, you know, different things of that nature. You got to want to get in the gym, because if you don't, it's gonna show. And that night, it did show.
People don't understand the term. It pays the cost to be the boss, man.
Oh, for sure.
And people don't understand it.
And, you know, Deontay, you know, being the person that he is, he want to see everybody win. You know what I mean? He told Andy that. So, you know, but, you know, everybody going, you know, he's a grown man. Hopefully he learned his lesson. Look like he's been working out. So hopefully come back stronger, because he definitely had a skill set.
Nobody forcing Snickers down his throat.
Shit, that check probably did, man. Snickers? Check? Fuck. Let's do it. Well, hey, Scotty, thanks for letting me back on, man. I'm going to get off. I just wanted to clarify that. Is it Tay?
Yeah, I'm Tay.
Yeah, Tay, I'm Adonis, man. I just wanted to clarify that with you to show you where I was coming from exactly. So,
okay, yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Y'all have a good evening. Well, shoot, Scotty, you'll see me a little bit, but yeah, y'all have a good evening, man. Keep it rolling.
All right, absolutely, man.
All right.
Yeah, man. Once again, everybody who's tuned in, you know, Tay Golden Warrior Jones, man, professional fighter. He's been in Team Bomb Squad for quite some time, man. I want to give a salute to you for even dropping by World Combat Sports. I know you busy, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, COVID-19, man, I can't even ask you when the next time you're stepping into the square, big dog, you know, because we don't know when boxing is going to resume anyway.
Yeah, we don't know when it's going to be resumed, but the best thing that I can do is stay in shape. So I'm actually taking this time to get, well, I've already got my weight back down, but I'm actually just taking this time to just keep it down. And, you know, and I actually got time to cook, read, and do things of that nature. So to keep my mind off of, you know, ripping and running, not getting a proper rest and eating and things of that nature. Now, I know we got a lot of fighters out here who's going on Instagram saying they running and things of that nature, but that might just be for Instagram. But, you know,
yeah, some of them getting fat, man. And some of them
trust me, I know. I just seen Rolando Rollies. I just seen this.
Yeah, I've seen that shit too.
Right at 135, and he was 174. So ain't no way in hell that everybody, man, it's crazy, man. You know, like I say, it's just a show. You know, everybody on social media. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but you know, it's just a facade, though. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can go put on a hoodie and run 3 minutes down the street, come back to the house.
Yeah, for sure. You got that way.
You know, but you know, if anybody know me, you know, I played college ball. So I actually used to be big, you know, and you know, one thing about muscle mass, they always say, you know, you got muscle mass memory. So it's easy for me to blow back up. So that's why I have to make sure that I keep my weight down.
Man, last question I wanted to ask you, man, I wanted to get your input on Terrence Crawford and Jermell Charlo, you know, a little running verbal sparring online or whatever. I know it's good since we in downtime and that fight's never going to happen. But does it make any sense to even compare that? Terrence Crawford will even think about stepping up to 154 and facing Jermell Charlo. I mean,
Man, you know what? I actually touched on this the other night. Because somebody was talking crazy on Fred's show on Barbershop Conversations. I was like, man, let me call in, and ain't nothing else to do. We all quarantining, so we all having fun and talking our shit. But I called in, and I told him, I said, man, I don't know who they're talking, but obviously they don't know boxing. But yeah, Bud Crawford walking around at what 170 something. I think that's 170 something was the highest he been. That's cool. That's fine. That's dandy. But man, it's a difference when you got a person like Jermell Charlo fight at 154, but he walking around 180, 190, almost 200 pounds. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And he stays in shape. So, and I made a compare. Well, I didn't make a comparison. I pretty much said, well, we're talking about a Tony Harrison who fought Charlo, and I know for a fact because I've seen Tony spar in person. I know Tony can crack.
Yeah.
But the Jamel, he kept coming forward. But I know for a fact that I don't think Bud. I ain't gonna say he can't crack, but if they was to ever fight, and they would obviously have to be at 54, that boy don't have no that power to keep Charlo off.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just gonna walk that boy down. And Jamel Charlo know how to cut off the ring. We've seen that in plenty of fights. So
Yeah.
where's Bud gonna go? Now, what I did give Bud credit was he's Bud is very, very elusive. He's very, very elusive. But uh I just don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, I think Bud still got Jose Benavidez problems. If you ask me,
I think Bud is the better boxer between him and Charlo. But if
oh yeah,
him and Charlo was to fight at 154, there's no way I can see him stopping
no,
that train, man. The look and
hell no,
that he had on his face against Tony Harrison, man, it wasn't no
no,
stopping him, man, until he got the stoppage.
nah, hell no, not at all, not at all. But I know, but what I do know is that Charlo has flaws.
Yeah,
Can Bud exploit those flaws? Yeah, he can. But does he? The whole thing right there would be power. You know what I mean? We can talk about distance. We can talk about skills and all that thing. He's just going to keep coming forward. We know that Jermell Charlo know how to cut off the ring. So we know all of that. So it's just going to be about can he withstand those punches? And like man, and Charlo can crack.
yeah, he can. He
You
a
know, but
headhunter.
that's the same
That's
twin.
what-
That's the same twin that everybody said don't punch like Jamal. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And he probably don't, but he still can crack. He knocking motherfuckers
He
out.
just got to stop headhunting so much, Going,
Oh
trying,
yeah,
trying to get the knockout.
I agree. I agree. But it also showed how explosive he is
Mm.
because he carried that power. I think he knocked out Tony in 11th or 10th or something like that. But he carried that power all the way through the fight, and he was throwing bombs in the first 2 or 3
Bombs,
rounds.
bombs.
And he carried it. Come on, man. Most people get tired.
Yeah.
He ain't get tired. He didn't get tired. He didn't get tired. But I think Charlo a little salty with us anyway, though. But that specific twin, I think he a little salty with us because Harrison our boy too. You know what I mean? Of course, you seen Harrison at the fight,
Hey, yeah.
right? Yeah. So he our boy too, and probably got out that we were rooting for Harrison or whatever the case may be. But that's our boy. You know what I mean? So we love Twin too. We love Twin too as well. But at the same time, hey, somebody got to win. Shit.
Yeah, for real. That's what's
Yeah.
up, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Anything you want to say to the fight fans on behalf of yourself, Team Bomb Squad, and everything, kicking.
Man, man, I just pray that everybody stay safe. Everybody, love on your loved ones while you can, because as you see, it ain't promised to part tomorrow. We got people going out of this world each and every day. You know what I'm saying? Especially people close to us and dying from uh, the disease that I really think they should get in order. You know what I mean? Well, I ain't gonna say disease, but a virus they should get in order. I just pray that everybody stay safe, do the right thing, stay at home, man. If you don't got peace at your home right now, man, find some peace. Pray. Things of that nature. Just stay out the way, man. You know what I mean? If you got to go to work, For the people who are on the front line, I thank you. I think the whole world appreciate you for what you're doing. If they don't, I definitely do. Other than that, man, appreciate World Combat Sports. You know, and Bomb Squad is alive and well.
Bomb Squad in the building, y'all. Tay Golden Warrior Jones, man. It's always a privilege, man. I know you're right down the street down here in the A.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what it is, man. Always support, man. You know, shout out to the champ while he's in recovery. I always appreciate the inside scoop and exclusive that you provided me, man. Much respect to you on that, especially me being media.
Oh, yeah,
But
for sure.
like he said, man, prayers go out, man. Y'all stay safe out there. And my brother, thanks for dropping through, man. I appreciate it.
For sure. Oh, for sure. Inside.
Everybody's tuned in, man. That's it for me. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Once again, salute to everyone. Thank you for dropping through. Until next time.